Hello, and welcome to Gauntlet Star Wars Saturday. So, the Gauntlet is a worldwide community of tabletop role playing gamers. We have a Google Plus page, and I know that still exists, even though Google Plus France has shut down their page. The rest of us, we're all supporting this social media platform mostly because it's not Twitter and it's not Facebook. And in Star Wars Saturdays is part of the Gauntlet. It's an ongoing series that I run on I run on Star Wars. I run on Saturdays, and it's an ongoing anthology. Every month, I choose a new game and usually a new crew of players from the gigantic community of Gauntlet folks will RSVP and join me, create characters, and we tell an ongoing kind of sprawling story that's taking place along the same timeline as the original trilogy of movies. We're currently in the overall timeline of Empire Strikes Back. Now, you'll find, especially when we give a quick recap of last week's session, that I bring the canon up to the point in time where we are, and then if stuff happens to that canon, it's our canon now. Canon, not the gun, but the law, our combined experiences. Now, in this Empire Strikes Back time frame, we are on Tatooine. We are playing a game called 1%er, which to me, the short version is, by the way, I'm showing the shirt. I just got to show the shirt. It's like Sons of Anarchy, except we're setting in Star Wars. So 1%er is made for, it's an Outlaw Biker Gang game. And we are playing Swoop Gangers. Swoops are like the speeder bikes, except they're a little more tricked out. So kind of like a chopper, they might have ape hangers, cool, crazy speakers that play amazing songs. You might see that in a few minutes. And so this Swoop Gang is currently, they are situated around Mos Shuta, which Mos Shuta was created originally for Edge of the Empire, Fantasy Flight Games version of Star Wars stuff. I really like that city. It is under the auspices of an oligarch named Timo the Hutt. And in previous canon of our games, people have been in Mos Shuta. Timo has actually shown himself to be quite jealous of Jabba the Hutt, of Jabba's dope palace that's way out in the middle of nowhere. It's a little jealous of like how powerful Mos Eisley is, because that's like a wretched hive of scum and villainy, whereas Mos Shuta is more like kind of a scummy hive. It's like a slightly dirty, like tarnished hive of scum and villainy. So it's, Team was a little jealous of Jabba, which is going to work out for you guys, we hope. In last session, and this is as much for bringing Lonnie up to speed, and also a recap. In last session, we introduced our Transition, who had been off planet hunting down a bounty for somebody. He is a member of the gang. He's got some interesting relationships going on. And you guys had been hunting for whoever had stolen your spice. You suspected Vulture, the former Imperial, not that he's telling anyone, who had stunned our lovely Jawa Ion and taken the spice. And you guys knew that he had mentioned in the past, smugglers like to use some of the caves that are located around one of the one oasis that a bunch of moisture farmers hover around. And so you guys rushed there, and as you got close, you found that there was a starship parked right outside one of the cave mouths. That starship had an HK-77 assassin droid, basically a droid, in the cockpit. And you guys decided, hey, we should pick a fight with this droid because you guys are awesome. That was a gruesome fight. And HK-77 got his body blown off. The front of the cockpit was like melted and torn because of this crazy Transition plus Gamorrean team up of the pod racer engines up against the plexiglass kind of plastisteel cockpit there, melted it down, took out the droid, took over the ship, except it's not exactly super functional. And then you found that this was the ship of none other than the bounty hunter from Corellia by the name of Dengar. So for super nerds, Dengar is the totally bandaged dude in Empire Strikes Back who's up on the Star Destroyer, and he gets to watch Darth Vader tell Boba Fett no disintegrations. And that's the only actual canon of the movies he has. He did show up in Clone Wars. He wasn't quite as bandaged. He was still a dick, but younger. Anyway, so you knew that Dengar was here, and you guys were aware that the Eurodian Fivo, four-fingered Fivo, had been tortured for information about this spice. So this kind of connected some of the dots. I know that Ion had sliced into the data pad that you guys have found some information about the Corellian and the starship. So everything kind of fell in place. This was the guy who was hunting stuff down for the missing spice. So you go down into the caves where Vulture actually called for help when he heard you guys transmitting back and forth in the middle of the fight and said, hey, you guys come help me. And I'm not sure if you were really enthused about helping him, but you did go down, fought Dengar. Dengar used a thermal detonator to blow up one of the 4 canisters, not canisters, freaking cargoes, crates of spice. And so everyone got to fight in the middle of a drug-fueled haze, which was fun. And we played some cool 70s guitar rock in the background. And it turns out that Dengar had a rebreather because he's a badass bounty hunter. The Scar thing he's learned. So he ran off after Ro got hit right in the chest by some blaster bolts. Such a good plan. I'm sorry, Ro. The dice didn't love you. And so Dengar took off thinking, oh, this is all good. I'll just escape, right? Because this spice is not worth dying for. That's when he ran into the person you guys left behind to watch the bikes, your Gamorrean friend, who we got to have our Star Wars moment of a vibro axe and, yes, one less arm for poor Dengar. So Dengar got chopped up and he was crawling towards the ship, trying to get into an escape pod to just get the heck out of Dodge. So it turns out that when transition, see, this is a bit of transition lore I didn't know, but when transitions get super high, they like drop into kind of a feral mode, and you do not want to mess with them. Luckily, the identify friend or foe in his little lizard brain was good enough for our transition to run out onto the sun, but turns out that Dengar was still a foe, so he got kind of eviscerated. So Dengar's dead. I hope you guys aren't upset. Like if you had the action figure, if you saved all of the little proof of purchase, sent it off in the mail and got your Dengar, and now you know he died on the sands of Tatooine as opposed to some novel in the expanded universe. That doesn't matter anyway because Disney said so. But there you go. That's Dengar's official fate in the Star Wars Saturdays. Dead. You guys drug Vulture out. He had gotten pretty badly hurt from the explosion. So he's probably going to lose a leg. And there was a chance for him to apologize to the Jawa, but that didn't go so well. So you guys left him. You left him there with Sandcrawler coming this way to scuttle the starship, Dengar's starship, and steal all they could. That's right. You guys did take some pity over him. You did give him a tiny, tiny med kit. I'm sure it'll be fine. If we were to play like future sessions, I think the cyborg version of Vulture would be so after y'all's asses. A bottle of water and some Band-Aids. Yes, thank you for the Band-Aids. I love those. Were they like the Hello Kitty ones? I just want to know. Or are we going like, are we puncturing our own canon? Are they like Star Wars droids Band-Aids with like R2-D2 and I don't know, Band-Aids. And so they all drove off with 3, not 4 giant crates of spice. And what was the song that plays, Luis? The song that we always get to hear when bass is playing and it's driving?
It's Flaming Star by Elvis Presley.
Yes! So you get to hear the wonderful guitar strums and the soothing dulcet tones of Elvis Von Presley, who is now canon for our Star Wars, that Elvis Presley is a singer. I don't know. He's probably Velocian. And so you guys had taken off. Sandcrawler coming up, dead Dengar. And that's the last thing that we saw in last session, right? Anything that I've missed? Am I good? Seeing shakes the head. Yes. All right. Let's do a quick refresher of the characters that we have for our final, I'm sorry to say, our final session of 1%er Swoop Gang. I will start with you, Blaze. Please introduce us to your character.
My name is Grust Jarin, but people call me Grease. Grease is he's just a murdering thug, I think. Um, he just got back from, like what was said, just got back from another planet, hunting a guy who had some unpaid dues at the tavern or at the cantina, and yeah, and so he's here to help his buddies. The thing that you have to know about Grease is that he's a walking force of terror, and I'll put an emphasis on the walking because he doesn't really take care of his swoop bike, so he just rides on the baby seat off of oh man, I should remember Ukork's bike. Yeah, but he really likes his friends, so that's like really cool. Yeah, we're a good group.
Yeah, I made a really bad joke about the swoop bike that a transition actually has like hangers and clothes hanging off of it down in the basement that you guys have taken over. It's not even, and if I remember correctly, Ion, you've kind of pulled out pieces of it so it may not even be functional anymore, but you needed them, right? You needed them. Awesome. Thank you so much. Blaze, Greg, please remind us who you're playing.
I'm playing Ukork, who goes by the street name Ukork. Ukork is a Gamorrean guard. The pig-like ones from Return of the Jedi who guard Jabba's palace. Ukork is the Swoop Gang's quartermaster, although that probably is really Ion, but that's just something we decided on before Ion was a character. Ukork is sort of the muscle of the crew, and is really good friends with both Jex, who freed Ukork from Jabba's palace, and Grease, who is the person the tradition who rides backwards on the back of Ukork's really big, souped up swoop bike that has pod racer engines on the side that last episode were used to melt the glass of the Corellian freighter and damage the droid. Well, and I believe we've mounted one of the sentry guns on the back for Grease to fire with. Yes, and I used my XP from last session to soup up Ukork's bike, so he has a 3. Yes, it's a big hog. Yes, and the extra engine from Ion. So Ukork has a really big, like, battleship swoop bike that he stole. That's part of the also thing. The bike is stolen from a Wookiee who was damaged 2 episodes ago, and Ukork saved that Wookiee, and there's a little bit bet going for half of the cut with Jex about whether that Wookiee will be on our side when, Poodoo hits the fan. So here we go.
Nice, nice, nice. I love it. Josh D, remind us about your character.
Yeah, so I'm playing Ro Vugo, who just simply goes by Ro. Ro is a former B-Wing test pilot. She left that life to come to Tatooine for freedom and racing and adventure. And I believe Base Base brought her into the Swoop Gang. She's a little removed. She's a little bit of a loner. Doesn't talk much, but I think she's learned to love you guys. So
nice. Thank you. Thank you so much, Joshua G. Remind us who you're playing.
I'm playing Ion the Jawa. Excuse me. He is the last remaining survivor of his clan that was taken out by some stormtroopers when they were looking for some other droids. They took out the sandcrawler, and he decided to give up the Jawa life and find a unfamiliar clan, and has now become clan with all of you fine people or beings. And yeah, he's kind of like the tinkering Jawa sort. He likes to fix up his bike. His swoop, well, I guess most swoops are way too big for a Jawa, so he has modded it heavily, slapped an astromech on it horizontally, and made like an extra little cockpit on top of what would be a normal swoop bike, so he can sit in there and all of his like controls are at Jawa length instead of a normal person length. And his main thing is just helping everybody out in a technical way, and he's very happy that Vulture's no longer a part of the group.
Vulture, once he became an NPC, was pretty awful. Like, he had his own motivations, but they were wrong. And sometimes you guys have to have disagreements, and certain people don't get to play with the gang anymore. Lonnie, welcome back. Remind us of your character.
Yes, my character is Jexel Handuro, or Jex, and Jex is a cocktail of bad decisions and very little regret. He's from a rich family. They were killed when Alderaan was destroyed, except for his corrupt oligarch father. The gang doesn't know about this. He would prefer the gang to think of him as this deadly criminal, which he's probably deadly, probably not the best criminal in the world, but and he pretty much has a death wish and kind of conducts himself in that way. And that's pretty much Jax.
Nice. Thank you. And last but not least, Luis Paulo, remind us of your character.
Hey, so Adosa Basil, better known as Base, is a Togruta. I remember to mention that this time. She's young, 20-something. She was raised in an artist commune, and she couldn't really vibe with them. She wasn't into the whole detached artist thing. She wanted to make a difference in the world. So the minute that they hopped over to this planet to play for Jabba, he just said, "Nah, I'm leaving." And she just sneaked off the back of the palace, found a bike, stole it, and ended up meeting this crazy group of people. And they realized that she's the least menacing one to deal with other people, so they made her president. She's not the smartest cookie out there, but she is very determined in keeping everyone safe and getting paid. So I guess that makes her a good president.
It's true. It's true. Getting paid is pretty damn important. So that is our gigantic gang. So the last that we had seen was you guys riding off into the twin sunset of Tatooine towards Mos Shuta. One of the other threats, and I didn't mention this in the lead up, but this very real and present danger is that Jabba has Jabba's chosen, which is your rival gang. They knew who took the stuff, right? So they have gone back to Jabba's palace, and you guys got a report before you took off to fetch the spice from a couple of the perimeter guards from Mos Shuta, because it's located up on a plateau, has a good view of the desert, that Jabba's sail barge, I always want to say sand barge, but it's a sail barge. I looked it up. In fact, if you look at this, that's what it's called on the Kenner toy. One of his sail barges is headed this way, right? We are not in Return of the Jedi time frame. This may be the sail barge that we see in Return of the Jedi. It may not be. I'm just saying it's Jabba's sail barge. He's dope. He may have 2 or 3. We don't know. Jabba's sail barge is headed towards Mos Shuta. And you saw a couple of the skiffs, like the little long, skinny skiffs that we saw in Return of the Jedi. They were kind of heading around, and of course, Jabba's chosen. All of them intact, including HBO 4 and Yakar, who evidently is okay. Maybe he has a cybernetic limb, we're not sure. And the very, very disappointed in you, Ukork, female Gamorrean, she is also with them. Ulyag is pretty peeved. So all of them were headed towards Mos Shuta, and that they were quite a ways off. Jabba's sail barge does not travel as fast as a pimped out kick-ass pod racer and converted into a swoop gang. So you guys arrive, what we would assume arrive well before they do. We officially begin, like we did a wipe. A very George Lucasonian wipe, and we pick up with darkness and then slivers of sunlight as very thick door raises up, and we see the profile of all 6 of you standing there in various poses, looking totally cool. This is like the movie poster moment as the doors to Teimo's palace open up. And you guys, there is a totally kick-ass, not that it matters because we're not going to do map combat, but damn it, I like maps. So I will give you a quick map look at Teemo's Palace. Okay, so this is Teemo's Palace. Hopefully everybody can see here. And so there's a landing room here and cargo and receiving. You guys are actually coming through the fortified gates. And you start walking through. There's actually 3 sets of gates that you enter into. And then, so here you see that the guards are mostly Weequay and a bunch of humans. Like Teemo's open-minded. He hires humans. He knows they're a little slower. You know, they're not quite as smart. They don't see as far. Oh, Weequay. Let me show you what a Weequay looks like real quick. It'll just take a second. So Weequay is this guy. So they have the dusky skin, not much hair. Historically, Weequay are called Weequay, but then we found out with Hondo that, yeah, some of them do take on names. Okay, all right, so back to here. So in this, you guys head through, and the grand hallway is actually really, really posh. And the grand hallway is this long area that is, of course, a shooting gallery. See here, if you are trying to attack Teemo. Teemo's not dumb, y'all. So as you head down the grand hallway, you see that it is guarded by a number of these guys. Little 4-eyed, needle-nosed, about 7.5 foot tall, furry, not Wookiees, called Talls. They have white fur. And so, hey, you guys aren't able to see those pictures. I just realized I was not presenting my, yeah, I'm a dummy. Let me real quick change how I'm sharing screens. I apologize, guys. I actually thought I was showing a monitor, but I wasn't. So let me now show you that picture. Awesome. Here we go. So that's a Talls. That is what a Talls looks like. They don't speak basic. They speak in this trilling, almost whistle-like sound, and they feed by a proboscis, so they won't chew you up. But their claws are several inches long, so they don't need to. And so now let me show you a Weequay, since I thought I was before. That's what a Weequay looks like. So there's a Weequay. Those guys are all on the outside of. Let me now pop back. They're on the outside area here around the fortified gates. Once you start to enter the grand hallway, you don't see any Weequay. They evidently are just a little too smelly to be allowed. I don't know. They made an exception for you, Ukork, because you're allowed in. Anyway, so you guys come into the grand hallway. I see a number of Talls and humans here, and then you come into Teemo's throne room. So Teemo is this big hut here. And one thing that you notice, he is on a floating palanquin, you know, like the cool little rectangular flat surface thing like Jabba was on. But he does not have a Kowakian spider monkey, which is the little thing. He doesn't have one of those. And the giant hookah that he's smoking out of, he doesn't seem to eat semi-sentient little creatures, but he's still an impressive hut. He doesn't have quite the age that Jabba has. You can tell, anyone who knows about Hutt, he's a little bit younger than Jabba the Hutt, but he has set himself up as the major dom of, he's the main guy over Mos Shuta, which we see in the background. And as you look at him, you see that he has, as most huts have a major domo. There'll be a speaker, a person that manages the affairs of the house and also speaks for the hut. So that when the hut speaks, like, he doesn't have to handle petty stuff. He just speaks up when it's super important. The major domo, and just to remind, like in Return of the Jedi, the major domo was Bib Fortuna, who was a Twi'lek. He had the tail thing around his neck, kind of that dude. This major domo, the major domo for Teemo the Hutt, is a Mon Calamari. Ro, you may recognize this Mon Cal. So the Mon Calamari, if you guys remember, are that's what Ro's species is, and they are the ones that have the kind of the eyes on the side of their heads. They're amphibious land dwellers, and this guy's name is Halu Chalu. Halu Chalu is the major domo for Timo the Hutt. And when he sees you, Ro, actually he like puts his hands up and gives you a ritualistic greeting. You see there's some music playing, right? There's like a Bith a Bith band, not gang, Bith band that's playing some cool kind of synth music that's going on. There's a number of people here. This is a place to Bith, thank you, that are C and B scene kind of deal. And as you saw, it's almost like an amphitheater, right? It's completely in the round, and Timo's down at the center, festooned by a number of guards. You do not see grates that might go down into an area where creatures will eat you, but maybe it's well hidden. We don't know. But you see Halu Chalu, Ro, and he gives you like this ritualized greeting, and he steps forward. You do not see any chains on him. He's actually dressed in some nice robes, stylish for the time, Mon Cal style. And he says, "Greetings, Ro. I was not aware that you were a member of this group."
I think I return the ritualistic greeting, like the bow, and I say, "Hello, I'm also surprised. I didn't know you were working for Timo."
We should speak later about why I'm here, but I am sure that a certain admiral is very disappointed that you are no longer assisting him.
I think I kind of stiffen at that, kind of back straighten up and say, yes, we shall talk later.
You, Ukork, notice that among the other kind of party attendants is a young Bothan female. This is the Bothan female who was chained, and she is, Bothan. Let me quickly show you guys what a Bothan looks like. The Bothan actually are never seen on screen, if I remember correctly. So this is what a male Bothan looks like. They're short. So they're like 4.5 feet tall. They're not considered very violent, but they are very, very tricky. And yeah, that is a Bothan. Cool, clear on that. So this is the female Bothan that you guys had seen at Trask's Cantina. She was the one that helped you. Well, not help, but you helped her. You helped her to escape, and she's ended up here. She's not dressed like a slave. She's not wearing chains. She seems to be like a attendant here, like serving drinks and the like. And she meets your eyes, Ukork, and she gives like just kind of a subtle little nod, and you see the sides of her mouth curl up in a little bit of a smile. Dogs can't smile, but Bothans can, because, you know, we have the whole Jim Henson Studios thing, so we're good with that. What do you do?
Ukork is going to do a sort of a toothy smile back, and just, you know, keep an eye on her to make sure that she is truly here of her own accord. And if she's not, you know, I mean, are there other obvious slaves? I mean, Timo's a Hutt. He probably has slaves in the place.
He has slaves. He does. Okay. I mean, he is a Hutt. But, you know, he's like, he's kind of the Andrew, he's kind of the like the Ben Franklin of Hutts. Like, he generally frees them, but, you know, they're just a thing the Hutts have to have. Plus, this is Star Wars, so it needs to be problematic. Right, all of our good guys have to have problems. So
yeah, so I guess I'll smile at her and then just sort of, you know, look around the room and get a a feel for the room and where where I might be able to sneak more people out if Timo decides to turn on us and it becomes an advantageous thing to do.
Nice. I love that. So, Timo, once you guys come in, then after Halu Chalu says hello to Ro, then he says, "My lord, Timo the Hutt, may I present to you the Swoop Gang, the Sarlacc Riders." And Timo, he takes a puff off of his little, he's not little, it's gigantic, the word I just spaced on it, hookah. Whew. Thank you, Blaze. His giant hookah, and he lets out in the smoke, kind of curls up, and he says, "Oh, welcome to my favorite Swoop Gang. I hear that you need some help with some merchandise." And then his eyes kind of move over and they look right at you, Base. What do you do, Base?
I figured this was coming for me. So Base is just really stiff with her posture right now because she never likes dealing with Timo directly. Because she can't talk shit to him because she knows he's gonna get her killed. So she's just like, "Yes, thank you for having us, Lord Timo. It's such an honor to be in your presence. We had some issues with the cargo. One of the guys who worked with us, he kind of stole the things that we're supposed to bring back, and then he got one of the crates destroyed. So now we got like 3 crates of spice that we need to move, and we lost one of them."
75% is still better than nothing. So, where is this spice that you hold? Did you lose it again? It was not with you and your swoops. So I am going to ask another character, Jax, where is it that you guys have hidden your 3 remaining spice containers?
I think it's going to be in a cave outside of Mos Shuta, and it should be filled with some sort of dangerous alien.
Ooh,
right?
Awesome.
Like, do they have crate dragons? And is that too much of a on the nose? Crate dragons?
Crazy. That's crazy. I love it.
Yeah.
Crate. Actually, the previous Swoop Gang was called the Crate Things, but that's okay. They were actually way far away on a whole other planet. So you guys can. There won't be any arguments. Yes, if you want to have a crate dragon, then I have to ask. Yes, crate dragon. Dragon in Star Wars, basically like a wyvern. Winged lizard-like creature, animalistic intelligence. Crate dragon. Is everybody good with that, or is there anything I'm messing up for your understanding of a crate dragon?
No, I love Louise's crate dragons guarding crates.
Yeah, that's how they were named. Greece, how is it that you guys got hold of a crate dragon?
The long and the short of it is that we inherited it. The thing that most people don't know about our crate dragon is that it's technically blind. Although it's really imposing and intimidating, you kind of have to leave it on a leash. And once you put stuff to guard it, you pretty much have to push everything with a giant stick, because if you get too close, he will assume that you're food.
This is awesome. And so now I'm going to ask Ion, what is it that you call this crate dragon that might be slightly toothless and is blind and thinks everything that touches it might be food?
I think we've affectionately named it Smiles. because we know that it's maybe it even kind of like can smell us. It likes the smell of the grease and the oil and the afterburn, and so that's the only way that we can really communicate with it is by smell. But since it's not really gonna be a danger to us, we've given it a nice fun name.
Nice. I adore this. So that's where the spice is. Tebow's asked you, like, where is the spice? You haven't lost it. And then he will add in, that Jabba wants his merchandise back.
If there's one thing that you and I like both, Timo, is pissing Jabba off. So I can assure you the crates are safe. We just got to work out on how to move them.
Very well. As you know, I will not be able to trade this in Mos Eisley, which is the largest place for such transactions. I have a partner who is interested in taking some of this spice on, which will increase the profits for you and I. And that is when he looks across, and then on, if you guys remember from the picture, right, is several platforms, right, that head down towards the center. And the center is Timo. And of course, he's got a few attractive people around him because that's what huts do. But Timo's head kind of swirls, and we've got like 4 or 5 guys inside Timo that are like moving the head around. That's behind the scenes. That's all in the DVD. Don't worry about it. And he looks around. The eyes look up, and there's a male figure with a hood, and he pulls the hood back. And you guys, it looks like an older version of Jax. Like, he's got long hair, and he's just his nails are just perfect. Like, he has none of the scars and the like that you've seen on Jax. He's so handsome. Like, he's like the David Hasselhoff of our movie. Okay, he's played by David Hasselhoff. I'm just copying to it right now. And he smiles and he says, I will be more than happy to take this merchandise off of your hands. And he smiles and he says, son, I think you should come with me. There's a great deal of things that we need to discuss. And that's a human alien, played by David Hasselhoff. And by the way, he's got robes, right? The totally dope robes, kind of Shazam style robes. And for some reason, like, the robes are just cut a little bit to show some kick-ass chest hair because it's David Hasselhoff. He's oiled too. I don't even know how that happened.
I think the strangest thing is that you see Jax, like, his head bows down. He goes, yes, father.
Oh, shit. Cool. Yes, he's David of Hoth.
Yeah, he'll probably walk over right by him, as a matter of fact, and he'll look really domesticated, I think.
Dang, he says. He actually steps down one of the dais and puts his hand on your shoulder. He's still a little bit taller than you. And he says, son, no worry. Everyone sows their wild oats. I'm glad you've decided to come home. Yes. So telenovela. I love it. Cool. So Tebow laughs and just, family reunion. So interesting. Very well.
Sorry.
Yeah, Ukor.
I think Ukor wants to just sort of lightly put a hand on the back of Jax's shoulder and make a sort of a face. Like, I didn't know.
Yeah, Base is just like with her mouth open, is like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I think at this point, Jax, like, he can't even show his face to them at this point. Like, he's lost. I mean, it's totally different than anything they've seen from Jax before.
Oh, this is delightful. Delightful. I did not see that coming. This makes me so happy. Okay. So Timo says, we must talk price. The street value of this spice you have brought to us, very lucrative. And my partner will allow us to move it all. 100,000 credits for each crate is what I offer you, Sabak riders.
That's great. That's just that's that's an acceptable amount of money. Yeah.
Good, because there's like a moment where all of Timo's guys are like tensing around weapons. Like, is this when the fight breaks out? And Base's reaction, everyone relaxes, and of course Timo laughs. Oh, 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 oh! He takes a puff off of his hookah, and the music picks up, and people start dancing around. And yeah, you hear several of them are like, "Big spice party! Big spice party!" And people start moving, and that seems to have, like, that's the conclusion of the business meeting with Timo. He keeps things short and sweet. He came in high, and you guys took it, and so I think this would be great if we kind of break off into a few scenes. We've got Ro, who wanted to talk to Halu Chalu, or vice versa. We need to have a conversation between I think I was going to go with Handuru? How's that? Is that a cool name for Jex's? I'm sorry, Wodi. Wodi Handuru. Handuru is the last name for Jex. Yeah, I forgot last name. It's Handuru. Like Wodi. It's kind of a rich guy name. It's a little like you just want to. It's like Brad or Chuck. You know, Wodi. Wodi Handuru, oligarch of Alderaan. Last surviving members of the elite. Any other like break off scenes? Does Ukork want to talk to the Bothan girl? Does Base want to actually jam with the Bith? Anything else? I just want to. I thought it'd be cool if we kind of break off into a few party scenes, and then we'll have the looming threat of Jabba's chosen, the like, and we'll see how that goes. Is it good? All right.
Cool. I think
Cool.
Ukwerk would like to have a scene with the Bothan at some point, but
I love it. I think
probably a
that
quick
is
one. Yeah.
that sounds really fun for me. Do you want to do that one first? Because I imagine that would be one of the quicker ones.
Sure.
We'll
Yeah.
see.
No,
Maybe it could be
I think
one.
Ukwerk sort of as the party starts going, Ukwerk's more of a wallflower, not going to be out in the middle dancing, and sort of takes a spot at one of the bar little cubbies around one of the tables and gestures over to the Bothan and just wants to check and see if they're treating her well here.
Cool. All right. So she comes over. I'm just making the note so I have it. She comes over, and you actually smell like a hint of perfumes in her fur. And she glides over and has a seat. And she sits actually like, you imagine this is at like some kind of cafe table type thing up in the upper parts of the. Yeah. So she actually scoots the chair over and sits very close to where her shoulder brushes against yours. She's tiny compared to you because you're freaking Gamorrean, and she's like 4.5 feet tall, or so, maybe 4'7" if she's wearing heels, 4'8", and she comes up near and she puts her hand on your like massive forearm. She says, "I was hoping I would get a chance to see you again."
I was hoping I would get to as well. Are you being paid to be here? Are you here on your own free will?
I am here of my own free will. I am working out an indentured servitude for passage off of Tatooine. It is acceptable.
And where will you go?
I have considered traveling the stars. There are places for Bothans to work. I am Utri. I'm told your name is Ukork.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Utri. If you ever run into trouble again, you can count on the Sarlacc Riders to help you.
I can count on you. And then she's gonna like climb her way up and kiss your giant Gamorrean cheek.
And I think Ukork does whatever blushing a Gamorrean is possible, and maybe slips off to another table. And yeah,
Nice. I love it. That's really cool. Cork tree. we now have a great ship name. This Cork tree, dude. Louise Paul. That's the best. Okay. Let's jump over. I see there was a short scene with Grease and Base. Sounds amazing. Let's set that up. So Base, where would you approach Grease?
So I think I just like point towards the bar with my head. I just nudge him that way. And as we're walking, I don't even wait to we're at the bar to say, so full of surprises these days, huh? First we got betrayed by Vulture, and now Jack suddenly has a father? Nobody told me he had a father. What's going on with this gang? Come on. People are all over the place.
What's the name of the planet we're on again?
Tatooine.
Oh, it's Tatooine. Okay. It's like, it's just a normal day on Tatooine. Everybody backstabs everybody. Everybody just backstabs everybody. Like, just slip the shiv right up there. You know, it's like, if you're not murdering or scumbagging somebody on your team, like, you don't belong on Tatooine.
Well, maybe we should move the gang somewhere else. Like, what's the point of even doing this if we're going to be turning against each other? We should be keeping secrets.
I hear it's very nice farther in the rim. Maybe we could find some swamp planet or something.
Yeah, I grew up in a swamp planet, not really eager to get back.
But the humidity does such great things for my skin.
You try cleaning your montrals after spending the whole day in the mist. It's not fun. These things are big. They go all the way down here.
Well, if we're gonna move, we're gonna need a job. And a patron, maybe.
I'm just so tired of this shit. I guess we could find somebody easier to deal with than Huts. If I have to listen to another ho ho ho, I'm gonna kill myself.
Yes, they're slithering bastards, aren't they?
Yeah, but don't say that too loud. And she just like clinks glasses with him, and she just.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Okay.
I love it. I'm giving each of you 3 karks for your bonding moment. Adorable. It's cute. You guys talking about new horizons and new places. I just Swamp Planet. It's just great. It's so good. I mean, it's terrible, but it's great too. I love it. Let's pick up with Ro and Haluchalu. So Haluchalu would not have this conversation out amid the populace. Like, he would take you into a small like room, so you have to head up the amphitheater, and there would be a little private meeting room that he would enter first, and he actually dismisses a couple of the human guards so that it's just the 2 of you. And you see there's a small table with this decanter of wine and some goblets, and then there's a little table. This is like a comfortable meeting room. A lot of silks here, a little bit of music piping in, but it's quiet enough for you to have a comfortable conversation. And he says, do not worry. Ro, this place is not, there are no monitors in this room, Rovugo. We may speak openly.
Okay. What's the admiral's name at this point in time?
GL Akbar.
Oh, okay. Okay. So it is Akbar still.
Yep. It was great. Just is that in Strikeforce Shantipole, which is this module from like 1991, Akbar actually gets promoted because of the B-Wings stuff that he did. So I'm just kind of working that canon in because I think it's super cool. And also I get to mention Akbar. Yay!
Cool. Yeah, I guess I just say fine. I'll speak openly. What does Akbar want with me?
Grand Admiral Akbar, the B-Wing project has been moved into full production. There was trouble for the Verpine species who assisted him. The Empire has taken over their sector. The asteroid field that they existed in is now under Imperial control, but they have joined the Rebel Alliance, as has Timo the Hutt. And he pours from the decanter into a long glass. And he comes over and he hands you a glass of, what is this kind of wine? It's like some wine that Moncals enjoy.
I mean, this might be a little on the nose, but like just like a fermented kelp, it's like
that's awesome. I love it. Yes, yeah. Go with. I love
wine,
it.
Crushed up, kind of thing. Crushed up and fermented.
Yeah, it has almost like a pickled taste to it or something.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, humans hate it, but it's really great for Moncals.
Yeah.
Did you see Greg's face? That's what humans think of Moncal wine. But Moncals love it. All right. Anyway, so yeah, he hands you this like pickled kelp wine, and then he takes a little bit of the drink himself. And he waits for your reaction to him just dropping the news that evidently Timo's buddying up with the Rebel Alliance.
That seems quite out of character for a Hutt.
It's true. It has not been easy, but Jabba the Hutt has been an excellent foil to motivate him to make the right choices for the galaxy.
So what do you need me for the B-Wings?
I understand that you have a small gang here. I assume you are leading it. I hate to steal you away from them, but as we move the B-Wings into production, we will need commanders. You are one of the best.
I can't summon the energy anymore. Everyone's so righteous all the time. It's so hard to be around you guys. I don't know.
Nice.
People here are so much more easygoing. I can race whenever I want. I left for a reason, Halu.
Vugo, you break my heart. These races, these games you play with this gang, where will it be when the Empire closes its fist around Tatooine? What joy will you find there if you do not fight it? Think of your friends here in this gang. If you ran bombing raids, you could crush whole garrisons. Can you do that on your swoop?
I have to think, Halu. I have to think.
I understand. He takes another drink. And do we end scene there? Is that?
Yeah, I think that's.
What's the expression, right? It's a Moncall, but we can intuit. We can intuit the expression. What's the expression we see on Vugo's face as we start to peel away from the scene?
I think troubled, but maybe a bit of determination. Maybe that's not right. I don't know. Just like troubled and thoughtful, I guess.
Nice. I love it. That's fantastic. Cool. Good. So I think the next scene we have is Jax, right? We're gonna have Jex speaking with his father. So Jex, have you pulled anybody along, or has anybody is Ion like sneaking in and eavesdropping here?
I think it would be cool if someone was there, but I don't think Jex would pull them in. I think they would be like eavesdropping, if that's okay. Yeah, Ion or anyone else being there is totally cool. I see some people talking. I'm not sure if someone wants to be, but yeah, absolutely. I think Jex just opens up with, "Did you know, Father? Did you know?"
Oh, that's nice. I want to set this as I'm just going sweeping gestures here. So like a balcony that overlooks off of the plateau, right? We see the wind picking up some of the sand. We have David Hasselhoff as Alderaan Imperial, hands clasped behind the back, just looking out at the sun, the twin suns on his golden tan face, right? And you come up behind him. I'm just throwing you in, Ion. You can steal some silverware if you want, but you're here in the scene, and I'm just imagining it's like another, like it's like a sunroom, right? And so there aren't many people around. They're all kind of off. I'm imagining Alderaan elites, like they just have people around. That's the thing they do. Sail barge in the distance, looming ever closer, and you say, "Did you know?" And he says, "Know what, my son? That you were here? Of course I knew."
Is that why you're here?
He turns. "I'll not lie. The spice will turn a tidy profit. But there are many opportunities for business. War is good for business, as you know. I've taught you well. I see that you have gathered around some ruffians to you, and they do what you wish."
They're more than ruffians, Father. I know whatever plans you have that you're speaking of, there's always 5 other that are beneath the surface. I don't want anything to happen. These are my friends, Father. I don't want anything to happen to them, whatever you have planned.
So you have willingly joined me to protect these friends? Is that why you stepped to me so quickly? Makes me suspicious, son, after the words we've last shared.
Whatever you need from me. And he also pulls his jacket over this big chrome hand cannon that he's stolen from his father. And he says,
"Oh yeah, there's
whatever.
there's a moment of like him looking, and there's the recognition, and there's a moment of upset. Like there's a moment of hurt. His face tightens a little bit. David's good. Like he played Phantom of the Opera. He pulls that off. All right, so sorry, I did.
Yeah, no, that's okay. And Jex goes, I probably can't stop you from whatever you have in mind, but I'll do whatever you want as long as they're fine. As long as they walk away from this unscathed, whatever you want me to do. If you want me to come back home, I'll do that. If you want me to work with you, I'll do that. I just don't want anything to happen to them."
He puts his hand on your shoulder, like there's a bit of passion in it. "We have no home, son. That was taken from us."
Yeah, I think those words like hit him, like you can visibly see it, because he knows that, but he just realized that he said go back home, and then it's not there. You know, and he kind of turns away at that point. He doesn't want his father to see his face at that point, and he's like, of everyone on that planet and everyone on our family, Liz and Mom, why are we still alive? We deserve it the least.
Son, I think of that every day. You are my legacy. To think of you on this sand-covered ball of hate when we have to live for our family. It breaks my heart. I have as many Alderani with me. We have joined an alliance to restore the Republic. He looks out. He points right to the sail barge. Wretched villains like that. Those are the creatures who killed your mother, your sister, our friends, everyone we've ever loved. Oh, sure. We will have to make sure that we are taken care of. But the majority of the profits from this spice that you have gathered will help to kickstart this rebellion. Your friends, they're important to you. I understand. But what is more important? What is more important, my son?
And he just bows his head down and nods. No words.
Nice. I think that ends that scene. And I think we should take a little break. So it's 11 after. Let's go ahead and take a 5-6 minute break. We'll see you guys around 16, 17 minutes after the hour. Oh, Lonnie's avatar thing is crazy cool. What is that?
I just like psychedelic art, so I always look for weird things. Like Alex Gray, like as a painter that I like. I don't know if that piece is Alex Gray, but he's someone that I like quite a bit.
Nice. Very, very cool.
You're tearing me apart, Lisa. Oh, hi, Mark.
I didn't hit her. I didn't hit her. That's bullshit.
Is this from another game?
I did not.
Keep your comments in your pockets. It's from a terrible movie that is like cult classic because it's so terrible.
Oh, I've heard the name The Room for so yeah. All right, sorry. Okay.
You need to watch it, Rich. It's so bad. It's so bad.
Okay. I earlier this week, I don't know how YouTube bubbles up things that it's then going to remove for DMCA takedown notices, but someone posted on YouTube an edit of the prequels, all three of the prequels smashed together to like 2 hours and 12 minutes. And like the editing isn't great, but it was really nice to have all the highlights and the main plot of the prequels all smashed together so that it flowed a little bit better, took out a lot of the extraneous scenes. Literally, Jar Jar has 2 lines, and that's good. A lot of the fight scenes are trimmed down a bit. Actually, yeah, the lightsaber fights, there are some, but they're really, like, it starts off with a fight between Darth Maul and Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. And I haven't seen the prequels in a long time because I didn't love them. I didn't hate them as I watched them because my nephews, like, that was the first time they'd seen it, and I enjoyed their enjoyment of Star Wars, like, you know, that secondhand fun. But I had forgotten how amazing Obi-Wan is. Like, he just lifts and elevates every single scene that he's. Ewan McGregor was so good. And then there were a couple of moments that I'm almost done. There were a couple of moments of it's Ian McDiarmid who was Palpatine, right? Is that the actor's name? I had just missed how really, really chewy his scenes were with Anakin, like how good he played those moments. Because, you know, Hayden Christensen was a little flat. He had cool looks, but like his line delivery wasn't strong. But like McDiarmid's, oh God, I'd forgotten how good he was.
You mean how he slows down his lines the more evil he becomes? Just like lets just everything pull slowly out.
Yes, and then when he does the moment, like the turn where his voice just drops into that register where you can tell he's like really speaking from his chest and pushing with his diaphragm, just kind of rumble the words out. Oh, it's so good. Like, it's literally amazing. There are a lot of the prequels that I didn't love, but by trimming away a lot of the fat, I was able to concentrate on, like, oh yeah, there was some kick-ass stuff. It wasn't just some interesting lightsaber duels and yeah, so that was super fun. So although that one moment of like where they're on Mustafar and it's the lightsaber fight where they're just like swinging their arms around it, I've seen someone who like made an animated GIF of that runs and repeat. It is the most hilarious thing, and seeing that moment kind of cracked me up a little bit. I was like, "Oops, that was not a great moment." And okay, so. You guys had all of your side meetings. I'm about to jump forward some time. So does anyone, what was Ion's reaction during this big long conversation? I didn't cut back to you. So I am curious what Ion was doing in that scene.
So Ion didn't really care too much until the Rebel Alliance was mentioned, because he's got a strong desire to kill all Imperials ever. And so I think Ion had of course, he brought HK-77's head in with him, and he's sitting on a table off to the side tinkering with HK-77. And his plan was to have HK-77 like look at everyone and see if he had any data on any of the people here, especially trying to like pick out any Imperials or people that he would have seen at Jabba's palace. You know, when Dengar was maybe like taking him around or whatever. That's what Ion's goal was. But as soon as Wody mentions the rebellion, I think he kind of starts being interested and just files that away. Like maybe he can get in on this at some point. He's not sure. He's conflicted about whether he cares more about his new clan, which to the Jawa people is like clan life is everything, right? And so he's conflicted whether he cares more about that or about getting back at the Imperials.
Nice. I'm so glad I asked that question. So then let's I see scene with Grease and Timo sounds awesome, but let's check with the HK-77 and Ion using him to scan for possible Imperials or agents of Jabba. I'm going to say that's going to be hard to pick them out. And you're definitely using a tool. You're being cool because you're not under direct threat. You're being smart, trying to ferry out information. So as I look at Ion, I think that starts you with 6 dice. Do any of your expertise feel like they fit?
I don't think I'm actually slicing at this point. That's the only one I would think that even gets close.
Okay.
Could someone share the roll 20? Sorry.
Oh, goodness. I should have linked that to you guys earlier. It is...
Thank you, Louis.
Oh, thank you, guys.
Yeah, and Ion's kind of feeling it, so he's not gonna give any karks.
All right. So you're looking for evens. Pucker factor is not in effect.
I only got 2 evens. 1, 2, 3, 3, 5, 6.
Okay, cool. So with 2 evens, that means that the difficulty of hard, you needed 3 aces. So HK-77 says, observation. None of the beings in my databanks from visits with Jabba the Hutt or the Empire are present. It is possible that some have hidden themselves, but at this point, I believe you are 86% safe.
Perfect. I think after the conversation between Jex and his dad, I'm going to go find Base and just let her know that I've got some inconclusive evidence that there might be someone from Jabba's palace spying around or something.
Yeah,
Just so
she's just
everyone
like
knows.
doing shots at the bar, spending the money she's gonna earn. And she's like, what was that? Oh, of course that is. There always are. Freaking desert planet.
Nice.
Ion's like, yep, that's about right.
It's a real small community. You gotta get around, right? Who hasn't been to Mos Eisley, really? I see here that there was a requested scene, Grease having a moment with Timo. So if you wanted it to happen during the daytime, Timo kind of holds court, so you would need to converse with him there. You, of course, can do the sidebar conversation and move close to chat with him if you wanted to lower your voice. But yeah, you can absolutely approach Timo. You guys just cut a huge deal with him. You can, by the way, just so it's clear, you guys could buy a couple used spaceships with the amount of money he's offered you.
Okay. So we don't, I misunderstood something. We don't work for Timo. Timo is just like, okay.
You guys are freelancers.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't work for Timo. Now Fivo, 5-Finger Fivo or 4-Finger Fivo, the Rhodian who approached them previous to you joining the game, he approached them saying like, hey, I'll work with Timo to make this happen. But he was, it's a gig economy. He was a fixer. Like he was going to make a profit. He would have gotten $100,000 per crate and then paid you guys like 60 if he'd get away with it per crate. And you would have thought it's a lot of credits and been like, awesome. And he would have cleaned 160K off of you and your hard work and all of that. But instead, he died.
Okay. Well, in that case, I won't have a scene. It's all good.
Oh, okay. All right.
Thank you.
Cool. So I'm going to check in on a media thing. I hope that all of you have seen Fury Road. If you haven't, I'm so sorry. You need to rectify that soon. It is one of the best movies I've ever seen. It's definitely top 5 best action movies I've ever seen. Oh, Greg, you had a
I just
retcon?
have one quick retcon. I sort of wanted to pull in a flashback almost back to like the first thing when I saw the Boffin. I wanted to administer some street justice to the poet. And I wanted to like have a flashback to that moment when I saw her and what Ukwork did afterwards. Sort of made sure that he could never get another slave girl to work for him again. Yes, slam poetry. And on a meta level, it's because Ukwork is running a little low on karks. And maybe I know Ion wasn't in the first episode, but maybe pull Ion in to make Ion erase all of his poetry that he's ever made. while I hold him and beat him up.
Yes, totally slice into all of his equipment and just erase it completely. I like this.
You guys are breaking my heart. What if some of those poems don't suck? I mean,
they're all terrible, and he deserves it.
Okay. All right. Fine. I wish I had not chosen the species for him that I have, because I can't find what species he is. It was the ones with the, like, maybe it's a Togruta that's got some spiky horns. I don't know. I feel like a doof for like throwing out a character species that I know exists because it was in the prequels. He was the dude who attended Palpatine. It's like that style. Anyway, doesn't matter. So you're going to try to wipe him out. That sounds vicious and amazing, and I adore it. I think to do that, it will take some slicing. And if you want to clean off everything in Tatooine, there aren't as many data sources. So I will say that that's just normal. You're basically just overriding his poetry with whatever it is that you wish, Ion. If you want to erase his work from the HoloNet, then I'm going to say that is hard. And not only is that hard, it elevates the role to be a pucker factor. So you tell me which way you're going.
So definitely Ion would be doing the slicing part. And yeah, let's go for eliminating him from the HoloNet. Like just take him out, make him, spread bad rumors about his poetry and make it real hard. So maybe I'll give a kark to Ion, and that's just me assisting by holding him and not letting him do anything while Ion does the slicing.
Awesome. I hate to do this, but somebody just knocked at the door. I got to step away for just a minute. I'll be right back.
We're going to make it so bad that he has to switch careers. That's our goal.
I think we put it somehow even worse poetry under his name too.
You're going to make him leave his lucrative career as a slam poetry.
Or I could just beat him into like raging pulp. Like it sounds so subtle. We're a swoop gang. Like you go to his place, you beat him up, you burn his shit down, and then you leave. Like this is not.
I really like the idea that we do this now, and then when Grease gets back, we have another flashback where Grease is pissed off that we didn't beat him up worse and goes to his house and beats him up again.
There's just a scene where you see like a cut from Grease's like pants down, and you see a baseball bat and a can of gasoline, and that's all you see. And then like,
I have a feeling I missed something amazing. I'm sorry about that, guys. I'm back, and Mas Ameda is the Chagrian, I guess we would say. That is the species. So thank you so much for that, Josh. Gee, now I feel less ignorant. I've learned a thing. An amphibious species of tall, horned humanoids with blue skin. Awesome. So, what? I ran up the stairs, so sorry for the breathiness. I'm not that excited. I just was trying to get back here really fast because we were right on the cusp of a really cool roll. So you did want to spend a kark, and you're going for the full Monty.
Yeah, the full elimination. So I'm spending a kark. And when you ran off, what we talked about was that Grease possibly came back afterwards, right? Because Grease wasn't on planet. Found out that we didn't do a good enough job eliminating all of his stuff, and then went back and burned his place down as a scene afterwards. Yeah. Sorry, is Ion making the roll then?
I guess so. You're the one. He's going to lose the karks. Ion's your guy. I'm going to go with the guy's name. We have to name him now because there's so much enmity towards him. So I'm going to go with one of the names that Wikipedia says is actually a Chagrian name. We'll go with Charco, the honey-lipped.
I hate him. I'm gonna give a couple of karks as well. I'm gonna write the poetry that we're gonna put in his name. I'm not a good poet.
You're a good singer, though. You can take back bad poetry and make it sound good.
I do covers. I don't write my own stuff.
So is that 2 more karks?
Looks like it.
I really hope there's a follow-up game where he actually puts out a bounty on all of us doing this.
Yeah. What's he going to pay for it with? Cool. So you are looking for evens. Ones will cost you karks, and if I remember correctly, I said it would take it up to hard. Seeing 3 successes, but yeah, you are infiltrating the holonet, which means that very, very the holonet it's like Wikipedia, it's like a lot of people will re-edit unless you do it just perfectly.
Yeah, so I've got 3 successes, but also 3 shibs.
Oh, so you are successful. However, you take 3 shibs, 3 karks worth of damage. And so, Ion, you are known on the holonet now as a hacker, right? Like you came in, you broke into the holonet. You are nefarious.
Ion is pretty proud of this, actually, but it definitely has some negatives.
Oh yeah, it does. You are now known as like the best gun in the West, which means that other people who want to show their way will start trying to work up that ladder. They'll be gunning for you. In the next Swoop Gang, there will be slicers who are trying to take you out. That's awesome. Very cool. Cool. So we fast forward a little bit of time. Were there any other like pocket scenes or anything else you guys want to kind of looking across for visual representations? All right.
Do we gain karks for the street justice?
Thank you for that. I should do that adjudication of karks thing. That's part of my freaking job. 3 karks each. I'm going to give an extra kark to Ion because of his reputation. He's in a lot of danger over that. He did that at your behest, so I'll give him an extra kark because of the big teamwork there. I told you did street justice for the purpose of getting karks, and I forgot to tell you to get karks. I'm going to eat a string cheese because I'm dumb. So, okay. So we skip forward a bit of time, and our countdown clock is nearly full because we see the sail barge has now started circling around the plateau. You guys need to get your stuff from the crate dragon, and so I'm imagining like as the sail barge is getting closer, the 6 swoops like Here, I'll show the picture just so we can kind of have some imagery there. So the plateau here, which is where Moshuta is, you guys have to get out to the sand. So it's going to be a bit of a race down the plateau's main road. You head past the electrified fence, and we take a look, right? So you head past this electrified electro gate here, head down that road, and race across the desert to get to retrieve the crates. Have you requested any kind of backup, or you guys think that you got it taken care of yourself? Base?
No backup. That just means more people that you have to pay later. It's just danger. We got 6 people here. We're good. She says right before everything goes up in flames.
Nice. So as you guys are headed out, again, you guys have defined that it's in a cave not far from Moshuta, so I'm not going to make it like a super long travel sequence, but you're already starting to hear the opening salvo of cannon fire from like proton torpedo, like they're actually firing upon Moshuta from that sail barge. Yeah, this is bad, but hey, you know, it's for spice, and it's even more than that. Jabba the Hutt has been insulted. So yes, that's what you guys hear in the background as you're headed. Who is in the back of the 6 of you? Who kind of hangs in the back? Is it Ro? Are you kind of pensive and still pondering over all that's been told to you and hanging in the back, watching over everybody?
Yeah, I think so. That sounds
awesome.
Good.
So you're the one that spots Jabba's chosen as they have broken off from the sail barge and are making a beeline for you guys, because obviously you're doing something important. Maybe they think you're running away and they're going to chase after you. But yeah, that's what you spot, Ro. What do you do?
Guys, the chosen are on our tail. Speaking to my communicator, who wants to peel off with me? Like maybe we could split them up by splitting up.
Yeah,
I think
that sounds
Ukor
good.
definitely. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna say that. I'm gonna say take some firepower, and I think that leads into.
Nice. So Ro and Ukor, which means Greece, the two of you are going to peel off, hoping to split the party, as it were.
Yep.
Nice. Well, you know that if you do that, it's going to work after a fashion. So here's what happens. You guys peel off, and where are you? Is Jex there? I don't know. Would Jex sneak off? Do we see Jex here?
I think Jex would want to sneak off. I was just like thinking about that. I think he does, right? I think he sneaks off from his father and joins the gang because he doesn't want to leave them behind.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool. So yeah,
Sorry.
I think no, I'm glad you brought that up. So I think that the way that we see that is that you're attending your father and he sees a sail barge coming closer. This is moments before they all take off. And he actually leaves Timo's palace under guard, several Alderani, so several of your, not countrymen, but your fellow, your people. There, that's a good, easy word. And they're they've got this sleek, not nearly as badass as your blasters and blaster carbines, and they're attending him, and he's headed off towards the spaceport where his totally dope Alderani rocket ship is parking, and that's where you kind of leave him. Like you get lost in the crowd, and we see David Hasselhoff like looking through the crowd and all the Gamorreans and other people that are starting to gather up. A bunch of people are headed to the walls, right? There's a lot of activity, and you sneak off. Jex? He'll grab a couple of his guys, like, go find my son, and then he heads off, and he'll head to the spaceship. So we come back to you guys, and we have Jex, Ion, and Base remaining on your path to grab the crates, the crate dragon crates, and Ro leading Ukork, the two of you peeling off, trying to draw them. So I think, Rose, you should lead the roll to see how well you split Jabba's Chosen, like how much you sell that you guys are the real group to head after. Definitely using your hog, right? Which is kind of your thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I guess that'd be cool. Cool
Yeah.
and hog. So base of 6.
All right.
And-
Here's how I'm going to set it.
Okay.
There will be plenty of time in moments for the pucker factor to be in effect. The difficulty for this is up to, there are a couple that are definitely going to stay on base and Ion and Jex. But for every success that you get up to 3, like if you get more than 3 successes, then you get 3, you kind of top out at 3 of people that you can peel off. Does that make sense?
Yep.
If you get 1 success, HBO follows. If you get like 2 successes, it's HBO in your car. 3 successes. I just froze. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Oh, thank God. I was like, oh no. In 3 successes will be HBO, Xena, who is the girl with dreads, and Yakark and HBO 4. I just realized, I didn't realize when I grabbed the name off of a Wookiee name that Yakark is like, Ya and Kark, which just amuses the heck out of me now. So I'm just gonna like live in that name. By the way, Yakark does have a cybernetic arm. It's all like the end of it's the very robotic looking, right? It doesn't have any fur whatsoever. They actually had to shave the top of Yakark's there, so like the hair doesn't hang down quite as much. Very angry. Anyway, all right. So let's give us that roll here.
Okay. And do you think smuggling could count for this? Like,
yeah, totally. It's like exactly what you're doing. It's part of a smuggling routine, right?
Cool. So I'll just take those 7 and I'll just roll those. I'm not going to give a kark about it. And I guess we'll just do that. Okay. Whoa. 1 success. I got 5551352.
Wow. So it is only, there's a moment, right, where you guys peel off and Ulya considers it, and there's just something about, like, she even mutters this, right, in Gamorrean, right, but we see the words at the bottom. She says, I would never send Cork to do anything important. But still, HBO, hunt them down. And then the battle droid, they'll dinged up and beat up, and he has like a new piece of his head plate there. HBO 4 peels off, and he starts chasing after you guys. So you were able to get rid of HBO 4. You may want to peel back to the group if things get too messy. We're going to cut ahead to you guys arriving at the cave mouth. Base, is there anything you want to set up? Because you guys still have to go. You've got to tow those 3 crates. And, of course, you got to deal with the crate dragon, who on a bad day might think someone's food. But, it's fine. It's fine. Don't worry.
So what I'm thinking is that we let them follow us to the cave, and we don't let them get out. We just kill them here, and then we deal with HBO and get the crates without any trouble.
Nice.
Do a real slaughter fest here.
We can set up a sweet ambush and use the dragon to scare them too.
Yeah, no, not scare them. This guy's getting fed today. This dragon's gonna have the best meal of his life.
Smile's gonna eat. All right, this sounds pretty amazing. You guys are outnumbered. It is 4-3, and one of the 4 has a cybernetic arm. That's totally dope, you guys. But unfortunately, he didn't get the pop-out blaster that he wanted because he had to do it on the quick on the side. It's like a street doc. It was like, just come back next week. I'll hook you up. Cool. So you guys are trying to set an ambush for Jabba's Chosen, for Ulya, Yakark, as well as Elfin and Xena. This is pretty cool. So that sounds amazing. Let's cut back over. So you guys kind of pull into the cave. Imagine it's big enough for your swoops for you to be able to set up. Are you just kind of setting up with your guns of your swoop gang, like aim towards the mouth? Are you what are you? How do you imagine this setup for the big ambush?
I think Ion should do the planning for this one since he's the tinker. Jax can set up our position since he's the more violence inclined of the group. I think basically just gonna be cool about it. I'm just gonna like ready my blaster. I'm gonna say nobody leaves this cave alive except for the three of us.
I think Ion's idea is to take HK-77 and kind of roll his head in front of the dragon. So the dragon's not interested in eating droids, right? So he's going to roll the head in front of the dragon and then kind of hide us, the three of us, off to the sides where we won't be initially visible. So his plan is to use HK-77 to kind of draw them in to the like heart of the cave as a bit of a distraction, and then once they're there, catch them in a sweet crossfire. So we're like on the sides of the cave, hiding behind our, like maybe some junk that Ion's just pulled off of everyone's bikes, and he can put it back on later, no big deal.
Sure, no problem. I love it. I love it. So are you imagining with this setup then that you guys are still on your swoops for this? Like, is there enough room in here? I'm just trying to get a visual. So you guys are off crates, off swoops, this kind of thing. Awesome. Good. I saw a head shake no from base. Is that jive with everybody that's laying the ambush? Jex, you get to pull out your sweet blasters, so
It's just my visual. If anybody wants to have us on the swoops, I don't mind either way.
I picture Jex and standing out like right in front of the cave opening with his blaster out, wind blowing his tattered spacer jacket and firing on them as soon as they're like within vision range, and then trying to give extra encouragement to follow him into the cave once they show up, like being kind of bait.
Okay, cool. So you're like self-sacrificing per usual. I love it. That is really cool. I just shared with you guys what a crate dragon looks like. Oh man, I forgot to shoot. Hold on a second. So this is for Ro. This is what Chalu looks like. I actually had found a picture for him and had it all ready to go, and I forgot to share it with you. Got all share excited and I blew it. Anyway, there it is. And I found a cool pic of a crate dragon. I think this one actually looks like he's seen some shit. So this will be our crate dragon. There's Smiles. Look at him. He even has like slightly dead eyes. Like he looks blind. That's just perfect. That's Smiles. Yay. So he sniffs around as you guys come in, right? You start setting up your huge ambush. You can hear the sounds of the swoops as they're getting closer. Let's cut off to Ro and Ukork and Grease as you guys see that HBO 4 is following you, and you see HBO 4, right? He's doing that thing where he's like dialing in and just starting to sight in. He's starting to sight in, and he's going to start taking pop shots at Grease because Grease is the one who can fire at him as he gets close enough. What do you do, Grease?
So I do the best strategy that has worked so best for us so far is I take out another thermal detonator and I chuck it at him.
You bastard.
I mean, what's the worst that can happen, right?
Yeah. I think the pucker factor is 100% in effect here. And chucking this at high rate of speed, I'm sorry, this is karking hard.
Yeah.
The good news is that if you pull this off, yeah, he's toast. Well, at least his ride's toast.
Okay. Can I give a kark about this?
Oh, please give a kark.
Okay.
You need karks to give. So you are definitely assaulting or something.
Or vandalism. No. I am breaking someone's dwang right now.
There you go. That
Let's
is
be
way
real.
better.
Let's be real.
All about it.
And so
And,
yes, tools.
yeah.
And, like, being a badass, tools. Oh, 3/3. And then how does the vandalism work? That adds things?
That adds one more die to you. So right now you're sitting at 7 dice.
7 dice. Okay. And then if
you need 4 successes, you need 4 evens.
Ukork's going to give 2 karks. I think this is something that Grease and Ukork have done before. This is a maneuver we know. And so Ukork just, like reaches, like does a hand signal, and Grease does a hand signal back and is like, woo! And so we just sort of, Ukork's just maneuvering the bike as well as he can to make sure that Grease pulls this off.
It's known as the bantha fart.
It's the bantha fart.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay. So
I think Ro wants to give a kark about that too. I think I want to like slam on the brakes and like so the droid just like comes past me like really fast, and then just like slam into gear and try to kind of cut off his options a bit of which way to maneuver.
Oh yeah, you break out, and of course it's a battle droid, so I get to do the voice. Hey, wait.
Perfect.
Okay, so it's 7 for me, and then how many? So I put 2 karks, you put 1, and then Greg put 2. Right? Okay, so we're looking at 10 dice. Okay, so 10 dice 6, and we're gonna hope for the best. Okay, color. We're gonna do something that's not here. We're gonna do. Do you mind if I clear the board?
I don't mind. Is everybody okay with that? He is getting a little messy.
And I'm gonna go green. Where's the?
Look at all those dice disappear. Or not.
Sorry, I have to clear. Yes. Thank you. Okay, that's good. Okay, and submit. Let's find out what happens. Oh, I get it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 evens.
Jeez. And no ones. What?
No ones.
Holy cats.
Okay.
Okay.
It's a good day.
So that is just the perfect time up. So it's a perfect setup. Ro does the thing. HBO4 swivels his little head. Hey, wait. And then he goes right over the we see the front of his speeder bike, right? Because he doesn't have a swoop. He has like a straight up.
It could be stuck between 2, like it was gonna fly away, but then it got stuck between 2 parts at the end of the ship.
Yes. Yeah, there we go. He like tries to fly away from oh no. And then bam, and the thermal blaster or the detonator blows up and he gets thrown clear, and it's like just the chassis and the head and one of the eyes is kind of popped out, and the speeder bike does that kind of flip over the sand type thing, a little 3D action coming towards the camera, right? Throws up a bunch of sand. It's just smoking ruins, and HBO has half of an arm, no bottom part. The other arm is like laying on the side, the eyes popped out, and he says, Roger. Because it's Battle Droid. I'm contractually obligated to make that quote. You guys pull it off, so you can hightail it back to try to help out your buddies who are setting it up an ambush. So we cut back to Ion and see. So Jex, you were still riding, but Base and Ion were off and setting up things, and Jex is the one who's like in the front you're the last lure. This is the most dangerous thing, Jex. Why are you so dangerous? Your father's here. You've offered your allegiance to him. He's talked about a brighter future, and here you are still throwing your life away. Your mom would be so upset.
Yeah, she probably would.
She's dead. So let's figure out how this is going to work out.
Okay. Yeah, I just thought he would probably be last and would probably, swing his bike sideways at the mouth of the cave and just kind of slowly pull that cannon out. And as silhouettes start coming over the horizon, he would just start letting off blaster shots. You know.
Oh, that's awesome. It's like,
yeah.
and whoa, you see the big fat swoop of Ulyag, and then Xena and Yakark, and also Elfin all come around behind her. She's leading it. She's Gamorrean. That's how they roll. And she's the one who's gonna she's firing off the front of her speeders. Like, she doesn't care about your stupid blaster. She just wants to destroy. She's imagining, like, she's picturing what happens in her head. She's going to run over the tattered remains and ruins of your swoop bike. And so let's set some difficulties here. So you are going head up on Ulyag. You're about to take out Ukork's possible girlfriend, but probably not, because she's not very impressed. So I think this is karking hard. And the pucker factor is absolutely in effect, because she is good at this, guys. You need 4 successes to take her off of her swoop bike. I see the chatter going to the side. I'm trying not to focus on it, but yes, this tickles my brain so much.
I think I'm going to spend 4 karks, if I may.
You may.
All right, so 4 karks, and I'm thinking be a badass. So that's 7 tools, which would be 10. And is this murder?
Is that your intent?
Yeah, probably. He wants to take these guys out. So that's 11, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's a lot of dice.
This
This reminds me of my old hero system days. 5,000 6-sided. All right, let's see here.
Are you clearing or re-rolling? How are you doing it?
I'm just going to, I guess, clear.
All right.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. You're only clearing your own dice now. Or no, wait. Look at those 6s. Holy cats.
Wow. Okay.
That's it. I'm demanding a recount. Guys, if you hack roll for your party, I'm telling Shane Liebling. Oh, man, that is so good. I'm glad that these are not exploding dice, because they'd be exploding all over. So you have 1 Shebs. I am going to say what happens is she's taking out your swoop bike. Like, maybe not permanently 100%, because you got Ion. He can bring anything back from the dead, except maybe Grease's swoop bike. But yours, you could probably bring back from the dead. But I'm imagining, like, the front, you know, you have those kind of front, I can't remember the word, and I know it's on our little thing, but it's like the little front
Stabilizers.
Stabilizers, yeah, that gets destroyed. So that's what happens to you. What happens to her? It's control vein in the center of repulsor rod.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah, all that gets slagged.
So that repulsor lift technology probably completely powers down and right into the sand.
Yeah.
They go tumbling off of it. Yeah. So does those successes like take her
Yeah,
out?
you get narration. What happens to Ulyag?
Yeah,
sorry, I wasn't clear, but yeah,
that's okay. I think in the morning, I think my brain's working slower than usual. So yeah, he dials this dial up on the side of this pistol and fires these blaster shots, and it's draining the power cell for the battery, and the end of the barrel is just smoking. It's like glowing red, and there's smoke coming off, and those blasts like just tear through that swoop bike, just like it was through butter or something like that. And she probably gets. I think it'd be interesting if she's like seriously hurt but not dead, but the bike is out. I think I want Ukork to feel bad about this.
Yeah. So you hit her in the chest a couple times, maybe the side of the face, like part of her ear gets blasted off, and she falls back off of the bike. The bike comes ripping forward, throws into a bunch of pieces. We have a cool explosion. You fall off of your bike. Yakark, Xena, and Elfin, all 3 of them come, and they zoom right into the cave. Like, they've threaded the needle. They're very excited about pulling off that maneuver. And they're like, oh, sorry, Ulyag, but hey, we got a thing. And also, we've heard you get, like, you would not know how much Jabba's asked is offering for this spice. He thinks it's all 4 crates, by the way. All right, bam, boom. So you guys, they come bursting in. This is Ion and Base. You guys with smiles. You're ready for this moment, but they come in like thunder, like whoa, whoa, whoa. 3 swoop bikes zipping in, just the pop, pop, pop coming through. So what do you do?
I think Ion has. Well, we can both do this, but I think Ion has like rigged his Ion blaster to explode, and he wants to throw it as they all come in and try to just EMP all 3 of their bikes at once.
Holy crap. That is amazing. I adore
so cool.
this. Like, that is so cool. That is so cool. So pucker factor is in effect, right? Because they see you, they shoot you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say that this is hard to pull it off for all 3 of them. Oh, yeah. Poor Yakark's arm. Dang it. He's going to flop around. He just got this. Oh, he's so pissed. All right. So, yeah, this is going to be hard. Pucker factor in effect. You need 3 successes. That is a really smart tactic.
And this is badass.
I'm going to give him 3 cards.
Awesome.
Yeah, you're in the thick of it, Ion. You are being badass. And his tools.
And I think Base just like pulls out of cover and she whistles, so she gets their attention. And then she has 1 blaster in each hand, and she has a head-mounted blaster, so she can shoot all 3 of them at the same time. And she's like, "I'm gonna have to do this. Surprise, mother cockers!" And she just fires at them.
Yeah, she's totally helping distract them so they don't see this coming. I love it. And her encouragement and like insults, really get Ion jazzed up for sure. Okay, so here we go.
I see ones. Sorry, I shouldn't be quite so excited. I mean,
5 successes, but 3 shebs.
Oh man! All right, so this is what it looks like. You try. You're a Jawa, right? You're in the dark, and you toss this little Ion explosion, and Elfin, the Iktochi, the Iktochi. Sorry, there's a picture of them in the names and species, and it's H. So they're the ones that have the 2 huge horns that come around their neck and kind of a ruddy flesh color. So he spots you, and he actually just fires his blaster off and hits you right in the left shoulder, and it hurt. Like, that whole arm, you're going to need some med kit. Like, you're a 1-armed little Jawa. Off, it knocks you to the ground. It hurts incredibly because it's on disintegrator, but it was not on stun. It's just like you got kicked by a bantha. The Ion. So when you fire Base, we're gonna say that you hit Yakark a couple times, and Yakark is like, angry but not dead because Wookiee, and that's when the explosion happens. It is a huge conflagration of electronic sparks. All 3 of the swoop bikes just drop to the ground and start rolling. And Zena, who the girl with dreads, she gets thrown off of her bike, and she screams, which gets Smiles' attention. And Smiles times it just perfectly and snatches her out of the air. And starts doing the terrier thing of like raking his head back and forth. And then there's a sickening crunch, but it's all slightly off screen because Star Wars. And yeah, so now the Iktochi, he gets thrown to the ground. You think he may have broken a leg. Yakark's arm doesn't work anymore because of the Ion blast, but he's good enough. He's got bowcaster at like 3 dice, so he can wield it 1-armed. So he's going to roll up and try to find a couple of rocks, and this is dropped in to be just a blaster fight for you guys. So you have the Iktochi Elfin, who's trying to take cover, And we also have Yakark, who is he's just coming after you base to beat the living crap out of you with a bowcaster. He could shoot you, but instead he just wants to maim you and beat you. Yeah. So we will go with Ion. They're ignoring you because they think you're dead. So what do you do, Ion, as you see Elf and the Iktochi trying to find cover?
Oh, were you going to say something, Base? Sorry. Oops.
Oh, did the old unmute yourself hang up? I've done that one. Just wait for a second to see if Luis Fellow could rejoin us. I'm now listening to parts of the Mad Max Fury Road soundtrack, just so you guys know. It's the best thing ever. So good. So good. All right. Luis, you were going to say something? And I think you accidentally hung up.
Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're back.
I'm just going to say that I need to reconnect it.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Okay, so I think Ion's laying on the ground, and he, his left arm is just useless, like limp beside him. He's still got his holdout blaster, but it's not going to do him much good, especially against a Wookiee. So he pulls out his communicator, and he says, Jex, are you still out there? This is Ion. We need you in here. I overheard your conversation with your father, and I know that you lost your people, just like I did. But this is our Ayafa now. This is our clan. You can't have two clans. You can only have one. And you have to choose. Is it going to be us, or is it going to be your father?
You hear Jex come over the comm, and you hear him go, stop yapping about it already. You know what I'm going to do. And you see him leap out toward the Wookiee.
Yes,
with his arms straight out.
Sweet. I would give each of you 3 karks, right? Like right there. That is a great bonding moment. Cool. So your kark, one arm comes in. I hope you don't mind, but like I think he clubs base. I'm just handing out damage. Like he clubs you once. You get him back. So take 1 kark of damage. He smacks you with the bowcaster, and now he's trying to aim it. That's when Jex, you come in and declare you're going to try to take out your kark. So I think you're loud, so he may have a chance to fire back at you.
Well, I think the weird one detail about this is like it described the power cell, draining the power cell of his blaster.
Oh,
he hasn't reloaded yet. And everybody always thought Jex was this natural badass because he was wild. But what it is Jex's badassness comes from being in Terras Kasi classes that his father sent him to since he was 5. So he's actually going to engage this Wookiee hand to hand. Base.
Oh my goodness. So Terras Kasi is this, like, there was a video game where they just wanted to have a Star Wars fighting game. And so they made up this thing called Terras Kasi, or maybe it exists before. I don't know the timeline exactly. But it's supposed to be this super, super deadly, highly refined martial art. And for any of you who are nerdy enough like me to have watched Han Solo, the Solo movie, it actually happens. But like they don't even show it. They just show the shocked reaction of someone watching a person with Terras Kasi beat the living hell out of someone. It's amazing. It's amazing. All right. So sorry.
I didn't mean to interject. I just figured that might affect what you're describing, maybe.
Yeah, it might. It might. Yeah, I think he's going to try to shoot you first, though. So taking him down is going to be karking hard. Now, I think the base, you can absolutely be helping out. You were already helping out Ion. So if you want to try to do a thing, that's going to open you up to the Iktochi because he'll now realize you're not dead. So you can play dead if you want Ion.
No, I think Ion pulls out the holdout blaster and starts kind of trying to pepper the Wookiee to like when there's an opening, you know. So I'll put in one kark here.
Ooh, dangerous. You're gonna get hurt.
As soon as I have a chance, Base is gonna just go for the Ikochi. She's pissed that this guy almost killed Ion.
Oh, sweet. So you're ignoring your cart, just trusting that Jex has this. You're going after the Ikochi? That sounds amazing. I love that.
Yeah, I heard it over the comms, and I'm like, okay, Jex got this.
I love it. Cool. So then you'll be doing a separate role because you're going after the Ikochi yourself. And the Ikochi is, I'm going to say that again is going to be hard taking him down. So let's build your role. You're being a badass and you're using tools, right? You're going to shoot him. Don't think any of your expertises work. Pucker factor is definitely in effect.
Nah, not really. Yeah, it's just gonna be my tools and my badassery.
Okay.
That's 2, 5. And I'm gonna give some cards about this. I'm gonna give 3. That brings me up to 8. I'm gonna clear and make new dice.
Okay. All right, so we have 2 different roles that are going on here, right? We have the fight against Yakark, and then we have the fight against Elfin. Hey, poor Elfin. Poor guy.
I got 1,
Dude.
4 aces and 2 chefs.
Oh man, that's awesome. I love it. I love it. All right, cool. So we'll work these together. Jex, let's see your roll.
You're muted.
I'm sorry about that. He's going to put 4 karks into this. He's fighting a Wookiee. He's giving this everything he's got. So it's going to be a badass and hands, right? That's 4.
Yeah.
And
I had not noticed your hands until you said the words Terras Kasi, and now I believe it.
well, I put experience into that. It was pretty high to begin with. But
Steel hands, man. Steel hands.
And then jazz hands. No. And then 1 for assault, right? So that should be 12. 12 dice. And I'll
Sounds
clear
like
and roll. Yeah, sorry if I'm a little slow, guys.
It's okay.
Clear. And I'll clear and roll it. That's a lot of shebs there, right there.
Wow.
4 successes and 3 shebs.
Sweet. Okay. So first we see sorry, the Wookiee let the Wookiee win. It just took it. We see the blaster fight between Elf and the Ikochi and your great leader Base. Who was Ion helping? Was Ion helping Jex, or was Ion helping?
I gave an kark to Jex.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure, like when we narrate it, that's where your intention was. So I think it's like there are a couple of shots to go back and forth between the two of you, like old style, gunfight at the OK Corral, right? And he tags you because if I remember, we cleared, but I think you took was it 2 or 3 sheds that came to base?
Oh, I don't remember. I think it was 2.
Okay,
But
I
actually have a.
I'm sorry, you cut out.
My blaster. Oh, I'm sorry. My connection is being shit today, like just right now.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Dang it, Brazil! Pick up your internets for my friend.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I pull up my blaster and I'm just like, get away from him, you ugly piece of drug! And she just starts firing.
Nice. Yeah, you're firing. You're out in the open. He hits you. I think he's going to hit you in the thigh, right? and the blaster actually knocks you down to a knee. But then you snap off a couple shots, and you hit him shoulder and then the side of his face, and he falls down. Like his horn gets blasted off there from the shot. And the elf and the Iktochi, who made it through two different actual games, but this is the one where he dies. He dies. Dang it, Elfin. You stupid Iktochi. Why did you have to join Jabba's Chosen? I warned you for just a second. All right. And he goes down, smoking hole from the thing. We still hear the crunching of Xena. She's getting munched up by Smiles. And then Smiles is going to move over and have some Iktochi in a little bit. Like, you know, like it's a 7-course meal. So he's going to work his way through it. Jex, you come running up on Yakark after he wailed on base. And he turns to you. He kind of slaps you with the cybernetic arm. It hurts. I think it maybe like breaks the bone in your cheek. And then what is it that you do in response? Like, what's the thing you pull off with this Wookiee, with your crazy Terraskasi and all these successes?
I think that cybernetic arm hits Jex, right? And like you said, he can feel a crack like in his cheekbone, and his vision goes black for a while. And I think, let's see, I have 4 successes. Is that good? I forgot what the difficulty was. I mean, what level of success did I have?
I believe that I had said that the difficulty was karking hard, which would be 4.
Okay,
so 4 successes would be successful. You have defeated him.
Okay, so I think he hits me, and while I'm blacked out, he picks me up in this bear hug and starts squeezing me, and then I go into this sort of exotic flurry of blows, and finally I find this nerve that is the same on a human body as on a Wookiee, and I start drilling it with this sort of phoenix eye punch, and he just keeps going down until he's on his knees and then collapses unconscious, and then I fall onto my back, and I'm like, face swelling shut, and that eye probably swelling shut, and he's like, I don't have a death wish. I really thought I could beat him.
Nice. Oh, I love that. Like we quick cut away from that to Ukork and Ro, the two of you pulling up, and you see staring up into the twin suns, perhaps blinded by the light of the twin suns, on the sand, wreckage of her bike as well as Jex's, is Uliag the Gamorrean. And she is there as you guys, like, if there's too much fire and wreckage for you to easily pull over, you're going to have to move some of this stuff out of the way. And she laughs like this. It's painful, but she laughs and says, I recognize your stupid swoop, Ukork.
Call off the attack, Uliag. Call Jabba off. The spice isn't in Moshuda. People don't need to die.
This has been coming for a long time. Timo needs to be taught a lesson.
No, Uliag, you need to be taught a lesson. I think Ukork grabs Grease and says, make her call off the attack. And then turns around.
Oh, God. And we see that, like, one of her tusks is broken from the explosion, got snapped off. Her face is a bloody mess. Gamorreans bleed green. Is that what we'd established? Yeah, so
Sure,
it's like a dark green blood.
In Star Wars, they do.
Damn straight, they do now. So, Grease, you've been told to do your thing or something. What do you do?
I do the thing.
Cool. So here's the deal. Like, me to you, Jabba's Chosen are not going to be able to order Jabba to call off this attack, right? This has been a long time coming. Mulshoot is in deep shit for lots of other stuff that have gone on, but 4 giant crates of spice is just the straw that has broken the camel's back. So you know, we can see the moments of Grease stepping in. What is it that you want to propose, knowing that, hey, just like you guys couldn't tell Timo to like back off of a thing, it'd be really, really hard. What is the thing that Grease wants from Ulyag?
I feel I just missed a beat.
Oh,
sorry. What was the thing?
Okay, we can catch back up.
Happened? Yeah, yeah.
So Ukork, Gamorrean, Ulyag, female Gamorrean.
Yep.
They have like a mostly hate relationship.
Yep.
Ulyag's the leader of Jabba's Chosen.
Yep.
They work for Jabba. They're a swoop gang that works for Jabba.
Now I understand. Okay.
Ukork had said, tell Jabba not to take out Mulshuta. And I'm explaining like GM to player, Ulyag doesn't really have that level of sway. Ukork thinks she does because Ukork, female Gamorreans like are kind of the leaders of males often. But you, Grease, had the feeling that like maybe you've worked with Jabba before, or you just know she does not order Jabba to do anything. She's just a Gamorrean. Hot female Gamorrean. Sorry. Okay. I have to pause for a second. But yeah, she's just a Gamorrean.
So and she's part of Jabba's Chosen, and they're like the Jabba Strike Force or whatever.
They're a swoop gang. They just took on that name. They're the rival gang. So during 1%er, you create a rival gang. That's your rival gang. Is Jabba's Chosen. They're totally buddied up. They patrol Mos Eisley. Like we saw them in one of the expanded edition, right? That there's a giant dewback, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay. So this is going to be really weird. This is a question more than anything else. Is there value in, is that gang worth anything to Jabba, or are they just part of the gig economy?
They're worth something. They are elite fighters and mostly dead now, but up to this point, they are known as being, these are his personal badasses.
So, and then the second question is how likely is it that Jabba knows that they're mostly dead right now?
It's incredibly unlikely that he's aware.
All right, good. All right, so I pull out my gun and I look at what's her name again? Sorry,
Ulyag.
I pull out my gun and said, Ulyag, call your mother cracking boss. We want to talk.
Nice. Okay, cool. She looks around. She can't really move very far. Like maybe not at all.
Has she been assaulted yet?
Yeah, she's been shot.
Okay. Oh, she's been shot. Okay. All right. Yeah. That's even better.
Jack's put lots of holes in her. She
perfect.
may be dying.
Perfect.
She's not going to admit it.
Well, maybe not yet, but we'll see.
She says, some karking human destroyed my comm unit. Stupid transition.
I'm like, just what's this mother karking frequency? And I pull out mine and I
nice. Yeah, she'll give you a frequency. She calls out a few numbers and symbols, and that should get you in contact. And after a few moments, you hear the voice of Bib Fortuna, the Twi'lek major domo for Jabba, and he says, "I can't do Bib Fortuna. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
That voice is like way like there's more going on in that voice than I have been able to master." So he says, "You have reached Bib Fortuna. What is it that you wish?"
Put your boss on the line. I've got a proposition for him.
I'm very sorry, but Jabba the Hutt is not available at this time. I am authorized to speak in his stead. What is it that you wish to propose to my master?
I am proposing a very short, what's the term? Drawdown or ceasefire lasting about, let's say, a day, in exchange for free passage off Tatooine. we will not kill Jabba's elite force.
I'm speaking to the tradition known as Greece. Am I not?
Yeah, you know it.
You are offering Jabba's chosen to be returned in exchange for 1 day peace so that you may escape Tatooine.
Those are the terms.
All right, let's put that to a roll.
Okay. All right, let's do it.
You're being cool. I'm sorry to say.
Oh, I'm
You
being
are
cool. This is really bad. Yeah. Oh, that's really bad. Okay, so I'm being cool. What am I using here? I'm using my jaw.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 3. All right. I'm going to really give a kark and like blow all of my kark on this. Can
All
I
right.
do that? Is that okay?
Yeah.
all -1, like all -1. So that's 6.
Man, you're going to be really drained, even if you succeed. I don't see a pucker factor in effect. You're not under direct threat.
No.
You're just trying to save possibly a city, but that's fine because you're not there right now. So, hey, I think this is going to be pretty karking hard. So I'm going to say 4 difficulty, 4 successes, right? Because you're basically like you're bluffing Bib Fortuna to call off an entire attack. The Jabba is like hitting the button and telling them take them all down and get the spice, but mostly take them down. Stupid TiVo.
Yeah. All right. So everyone cool with that? Perfect. Silence is consent. Not really.
By
I'm
the
trying
way,
to think of a way that Ukork could give a kark about this, because
right. I mean, it's on his
Ukork
comms. You
definitely
guys can
does.
all hear this. You're all able to hear what's going on.
I think Ukork will give 2 karks. I think maybe I don't know. Ukork is being Grease's hype man in the background. I don't know how else to fictionally do that.
Well, somebody could say we've got them cornered on the comm link. Yeah, they're gonna go down.
Yeah, along those lines, and maybe I don't know. We've got them cornered, and maybe there's like shooting Ukork's blaster off to the side to make it sound like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I buy it.
Okay. All right. So I'm rolling with those 2. I'm rolling 11 die 6. Is that too much? Is there a limit to 10 or something like that?
There's no limit on the thing, and there's
All
no
right.
limit in the game. We've rolled 12 earlier, so.
Okay. All right. Well, let's see what happens. Let's find out. And that's a lot of 1s.
Oh, you're so lucky I did say pucker factor in fact. I think you got it.
I got it. I got 5 successes.
5 successes.
5
Awesome.
successes.
There's a long pause. And Bib Fortuna says, Jabba the Hutt has authorized me to offer you 150,000 credits for each crate that you return to him.
Ooh. How much was Timo offering us again?
100. With spice inside the crates, of course.
Oh. I'm like hushing the comm. I'm hushing the comm, and you can hear like the hand brushing over the microphone. You're like, okay, guys, wow, what do we do now? Like muting the line just like halfway or something. I'm like, boss, Bass.
Don't ask me. I just got shot.
Okay. So I guess I'll go with my gut. It's Tatooine. Yeah. I'm like, I pull out the microphone. I'm like, that sounds like a Tatooine deal to me. We'll take it.
Nice.
I think Ukork gets very upset at that. Jabba's a slaving scumbag. might try and pull Ro in on this one.
Well, Bib Fortita will he basically, yeah, okay, you've got that. He tells you where, he gives you a quick, like, bring it directly to Jabba's palace. We will make the exchange there. The Pax has been called, and the assault upon Mos Shuta, the day is yours. With that, he will cut off conversation.
Cool. Okay. I don't know if that was good or bad, guys, but such is life on Tatooine. We get to live another day and with some credits in our bank accounts.
I think Ukork is gonna grab the comlink and like crush it in his hand and just be like, "What did you do? We don't make a deal with Jabba. I made a deal with Jabba. I had to escape from that deal with Jabba." Maybe like pulling Ro in, like, you know, your friends need this spice. They need to sell this. What are you doing?
And I look at Ukork and I'm like, Jabba expects us to go there. We don't have to go there. We can just get the F out of Dodge, F off of this stupid planet.
I think the realization just sort of crosses Ukork's face, like,
wait, you lied?
Exactly. You. Oh. What do we do with her? I just pointed at Ulia.
I'm like, so how do you want to? I'm like, well, and then I look at her, and that's just gonna be like a fade to black, and we just never know what happened to her.
Wow.
Are you okay with that, Ukork? It's like, who knows what happened to her? It's like we fade to black, and it's one of those questions that fans argue about for decades.
Release a couple about it then.
So Uliag and Yakark, well, Yakark seems to have survived. Uliag, we're not sure.
I'm gonna shoot him if he's alive. He's not walking out of my cave.
Oh, okay. All right. So that's good to know. Double pumped him after he got defeated heartily by Jax. That's good. So I think we need to start heading towards the end here. So what do you think? Do we want to make sure that everybody has a good epilogue? Because we had a lot of decisions on the table, and I'm not sure that we can necessarily play through all of them. But I am definitely here for understanding where things end up. So are you guys good if we move to some epilogues? Right? And so in epilogues, what I do is we're going to walk away from the system. This is just us wrapping up the story. I'm not even joking to call it the end credits because I don't want anything to feel necessarily like rushed or that you have to be quippy. What I want to know is, let's bring that character's arc to at least, if not a complete end, we don't have to go that far. All the things that we've got on the table, I want to see how that is resolved, especially like Ro and Jax, right? Because those are the two that I'm on tenterhooks for. So I'm going to allow Ro and Jax to go the two last. And as we do epilogues, it can even be setting up your sequel. I'm totally cool with that because you guys have been awesome. You deserve at least a hint towards sequel if that's what you want. This could also be a way that you close out your character's story if you feel that that is kind of narratively appropriate for what you want out of the character. I'm going to start off with Grease. And so as we start to head towards epilogues, what is the thing that we see from Grease, or what is his last scene that kind of gives us a feeling of closure, especially for you, Blaze?
So there's a scene in a giant hangar with a bigger frigate. And there's a guy who comes over and he looks scared shitless. Like he's just walking over and he's like trembling. And I'm like, so our deal is set then. I want the ship. You're going to drive us. You're going to fly us out of this system. me and my group and all the spice. And then I like flash some credits at him, and it's like, and your family gets to live.
Wow.
And it's like, so yeah.
Wow.
So I give the name of, like, I don't have it offhand, like some sort of jungle planet outside in the fringe somewhere, like where there's like Imperials or something like that. I don't know. Like,
oh, that sounds cool. Okay. Nice. That is nice. All right. Ukork, what is the epilogue scene that we see for you?
As much as we did that fade to black on Uliag, I had an idea. I think we see Ukork speeding across the sand, and this is like immediately following what had happened. So maybe Jabba's sail barge is just turned around, is sailing away back towards the palace to wherever the meetup was. And so, Ukork has propped up Uliag in like this cave that was supposed to be the rendezvous, and has just been like, I hope maybe some of this has changed your mind, Uliag. And then he just leaves her there and flies back, and we maybe see Jex and Ukork hashing it out, and Ukork pushing his half of whatever take there was towards Jex, and goes, maybe I learned something too.
Ooh. Cool. Base. What is the what's our epilogue for you?
So I'm gonna go a bit of a downer because I love downer ending.
Awesome.
Base's epilogue is it's a time skip. We don't know how much time it's been, but she's in different clothes and she looks a little older. And she's drinking alone in a bar in a planet that's definitely not Tatooine, and it's not her home planet either. And she's just sitting alone off in a corner while somebody plays a terrible cover on the bass on the stage. And she's just sipping her drink, and she starts humming the theme song of her Swoop. And as the camera pans out, you see that this planet doesn't have any technology on it.
Wow. That is such a great downer. I love it. Cool. So, Ion, man, your family's broken up. What is the epilogue we see for Ion?
Well, that's exactly what I was thinking. I think our last scene with him is down underneath the cantina, and he's the only one there. There's probably some swoops missing from their normal like spot in the in the background of the scene, and he's kind of like fitted together a body on HK-77 a little bit from junk parts, but maybe he's powered down, and you just see like this like sparkle in his eyes that are glowing, and you can tell like maybe that's how Jawa's cry or something. But he's just like interspersing this with shots of Grease getting on the freighter, or Ukork off on his own. Then we're seeing all these like pieces fall apart, and he just kind of thinks, and the last thought he thinks of is back to when his friend was shot through the sandcrawler by the E-Web blaster, and I think he turns on HK-77 and he says, "Well, let's make this galaxy our beep."
Affirmative, Master. Those meatbags won't know what is coming. Nice. I love it. Jex, what is the epilogue we see for you, wayward son?
We see Jex kind of limping down, the main sort of thoroughway, in Mos Shuta with the duracrete, tan buildings, and he walks up to this sort of booth that's all rusted, and he walks in, puts a credit stick in, and punches some numbers into Orobesh, and you hear a voice that says, "Please leave your message." And a camera comes on to take a hologram of him. And he says, "Father, I won't be joining you. says, I hope that you find a way to profit from saving the galaxy, and I'm sure you will. He goes, but says, family's more important. And I have one here. And he shuts it off and he walks out and he gets on his, you see him walk again, and he gets on his bike and he's standing there with Ukork, and he puts down some goggles and he looks over and he says, we have to find some prospects, don't we? And then it knuckles Ukork and it zooms in on their logo on the back of his patch, and then they both like peel out, spewing up sand behind them as they ride off into the twin suns of the Dune Sea.
Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. And then just before we head to credits, we get to see Ro's epilogue. What do we see for Ro Vugo?
So I think we see like a robed and hooded figure, but like at the bottom of a sand dune, like standing beside a sand dune, and you see Ro's bike pull up, and she gets off, and she's wearing that ceremonial helmet that she found last episode, and she's painted on it the logo of the Sarlacc Riders, or yeah, that's what we're called, right? Sarlacc Riders. Yeah. And she approaches him. It's he takes his hood off. It's Halu, and they clasp each other's shoulders and like touch foreheads, kind of, and like let's let's go. And like he hits a button, and like the sand dune was there was a B-wing underneath the sand dune. It's like a tarp flies off and sand goes everywhere, and there's a gleaming B-wing, and you just see it cuts, and you see like two of them just like leaving Atmo.
Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. And B-Wing's a two-person thing. It's like that's so perfect. Oh, that's good. That's good. We have the sweeping and you go off. The credits start to roll, and that will bring our game to a close. Our 4 sessions of wonder and amazement. I'd like to take like a 2-minute quick bio break, and then anybody who wants to stick around to do a little bit of feedback will be wonderful. If you need to go, totally cool. And I think I linked, but if I didn't, let me quickly link in case people are bored in an hour. You're welcome to come to the Gauntlet Games now. It's 44 after. I'm going to jump back on at 46, and we'll do Roses and Thorns. Thank you. Hey guys, welcome back. All right, that was pretty great. I hope you guys had a good time. Let's find out. So we will start as we do traditionally with thorns. Thorns, and again, think over the whole 4 game set. So if there are any thorns that kind of never got resolved, that's very important to me because that means that I wasn't reacting to feedback or didn't kind of see where some things were missing or not firing. And then if there are any mechanics, or if the fact that I took a game that's supposed to be biker gangs and squeezed it into Star Wars didn't work for you, if there were parts where maybe we should refine it, because I plan on doing this again, that would be helpful as well. And so we will start with Luis Paulo. So, Luis, what thorns did you have?
Why did you do this to me, Rich? You know that I'm terrible.
I'll let you go first. I'll let you go first.
Oh, you let me. Okay. I have no thorns. The thorns that I had were resolved today. Everybody was posting the names in chat. I was very grateful for that. Thank you. But since you mentioned the mechanics, I do feel like the expertise don't really cover everything, or they cover some stuff that we don't really need. I don't think we need an arson for this type of campaign, you know. But there were some times that were like, oh, is there an expertise for this? And everybody was like, no, not really. And we have to make do with smuggling usually.
That's a really good piece of feedback. I mean, I never adjusted those expertises before, but adding to that list is a really easy thing for me to do. I just kind of need to think about where the gaps are. So if at any point you want to shoot me like in Slack or wherever, a couple ideas you have for expertises that don't fit, I'll slide it in for the next go round for 1%er. I appreciate that. That makes a lot of sense, Luis. That is my favorite thorn from you so far. Just joking. Cool. Thank you. Lonnie, what thorns did you have?
Yeah, I think the only thing I can think of is more of a personal thing for me. And I think the way my brain works is like this with the mechanics of the system. I also played a lot of Cortex, and for some reason, I'm really slow at games when I describe what I need to do, and then I need to go, okay, 2 from this category, 3 from this category. I get this because of this. I don't know if that's really a criticism of the system. I just, for some reason, I'm really slow at that. It slows me down. That's the closest thing to a thorn, but I do really like this game, and I'm probably going to run it at some point too.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that, Lonnie. And I always hesitate. I think I know where these things all fit, and if I should just jump forward and say blah blah and build your pool for you, or if I like sometimes I do that and people are like, no, actually, and I'm like, I don't want to make them a well actually me, because there's always that feeling. So I always hesitate on like the one or the other. That's fair. Though I hear what you're saying. It also, like, if you take too long, it ruins a little bit of the tension, right? You like get super excited, get up to that moment, and then you go back. You got to build your pool. That's the one thing I actually like actively dislike about Cortex, because there's so many different ways. It's a little fiddly when it comes to building your pool. This one's less fiddly, but there's still that threat, that possibility of sucking the air out of the event. So that totally makes sense to me, Lonnie. Joshua G.
I really don't think I have any thorns on this final one. I think we've all adapted and learned the system really well, and I don't know. Okay. Nothing bad for me.
Okay, cool. Joshua D.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I can't super think of a lot of thorns. I guess my only thing is I'm pretty new to role playing, so there were some times where I felt like I should have jumped in and I didn't. But nonetheless, like, I'm super happy with everything that we did. I think everybody did a great job. So yeah, no thorns.
Wow, you're new to. I hadn't realized you were new to role playing. You did a great job. I'm glad that you gave this a shot, man. That's awesome. I'm very complimented that you played with us. That was really fun.
Yeah,
cool.
Thanks.
Thank you. And so, Greg, what thorns did you have?
Google Hangouts and its stupid mute button. No.
Right? I wish you could like keybind it. I want to keybind the mute so bad.
Yeah. No, my only
I think there is a keybind for the mute. I think it's like Control D. You can.
Just changed my world. Okay. So I'm writing that down, Control D.
You
And
want to preemptively give a rose to Josh D? You just saved my life.
wow. Okay, so yeah, my only thorn, and it's not this game was amazing, and there's no thorns about the game we played. The system, we never hit gut and feet. I believe they're an artifact of 1%er's old combat system where you sort of roll resistance rolls. It's very much like a saving throw with gut for violence. If my reading of it, my brief skimming of it, yeah. So I mean, I think feet was just something we never hit fictionally. Like we just never did a chase scene on feet. So I think maybe feet should remain, but gut might be better replaced with something like force or
Or just
something
goes
along
away.
those lines.
I mean, it could easily
what?
just go, or it could just go away.
Or you just go away. Yeah, it's just not. It's not something we hit. Like it in the original game. It's sort of it's a resistance roll. It's your Constitution, ish score, and it's if you eat something bad, that's pretty much what the gut was, or take poison.
That's really sharp.
It's just a something I thought of. Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm actually going to email Robert Nolan that feedback because I know he wants to come revise 1%er to go more in the cinematic way that we're doing it. So I think that's really sharp. Thank you. And last but not least, Blaze.
So it's funny, Greg, that you mentioned that because that's also what I was going to bring up. The gut mechanic. When I originally read it, I thought I was so disappointed because when I understood the alliteration of how all of the things work, I was like, oh, gut, yeah, clearly it's going to be instincts or something like that, and it's not really instincts. So that would be like a minor revision that I would do. But besides that, like Lonnie talked about in the chat 2 seconds ago, I think my biggest thorn is the fact that I missed, I wasn't there for the first game. So it was like sometimes I just missed bits of context of things. So, but that's normal. Like, oh, I couldn't have made the first game. Yeah, it's okay. I was out of town, so it doesn't really matter. Anyways, so that was my only thorns. Yeah,
good. Okay. Thank you. I'll stick with you then, Blaze. I always love to do snake order. And you get to do roses, sir.
Okay, so first of all, this system, I had no idea what it was, and it works out really well for this kind of play. Like, very strong. Like, I'm now thinking about using it in my own home teams and stuff like that. So we'll see how that goes. Second of all, as always, Rich coming to these games is like, this is the perfect way for me to spend a Saturday morning. I just had, we hosted a big party last night, and, we kicked everybody out very early so I can go to bed and get up here early. The fact that you had 6 players this morning is astonishing. Like, rarely have I seen, such coordination between player and game master in such a way that everyone was covered. That was great. You guys, again, this is mostly, it's the first time for everybody that I play with all of you guys. And again, I will play anytime you call anything. Like, I am in. The characters were great. The things were great. And yeah, it's all roses all around.
I just Control-D'd. All right. Sorry. I was like, I'm going to hit the button. No, wait. I want to do the keybind. Greg, what roses did you have?
Yes, a big rose to Joshua for the Control-D thing. It's life-changing. Okay. Yeah, and I thought everyone's epilogues were so cool. I just love the way that wrapped up. It's one of my favorite things that I have picked up from the Gauntlet is that hitting an epilogue at the end of either a one-shot or something just to bring it into completion. It's such a cool thing that it's never been put in any text that I know of in any game. It's just like, if you hit a one-shot, hit an epilogue at the end, last 20 minutes, just wrap everyone's characters up. It's so cool. Rich, you're an amazing GM. This was absolute pleasure. And yes, my issues with the system are minor about the gut and feet. The system is really slick. I think if this was in person, like at a table, it would be a little bit easier to formulate those roles really quickly. I think that's just a bit partially an artifact of the online play part. But yeah, and the character keeper is amazing. And I had a great time. I would play Swoop Gang with all of you again. Starlight Riders will ride again. Yep. I also had a little thought of like maybe Ukork ends up being a tail gunner for a B-wing in some far distance, some other system. Yes, it would be awesome. And I'm going to control D now. It's amazing.
Cork, tail gunner, B-wing.
He doesn't quite fit in the B-wing. It's all very cramped.
Just like they like it's a slightly wider. That is fantastic. Thank you so much, Greg. Joshua D, what roses did you have?
Just everything, I guess. Like everybody's roleplay was great. I loved everybody's wrap up. I loved all of the like sneaking in the bits of emotional play, like Ion bringing up the family stuff as he's like bleeding out. Like I wasn't even expecting that to come up then. I'd almost forgotten about that. It was really great. I would play with all of you again. It was an amazing time. Yeah, just thanks everybody. It's great.
Well, D, thank you. I can't get over it. Thank you so much, Josh G.
I love that we're all using the Control D now. It's just fantastic. Yeah, I thought this worked. The system worked really well for Swoop Bikes, and I had never heard of 1%ers before. I looked it up before this session, but I really like this system. I think it's all of the names for things work really well in my mind, and they're very evocative, and I think it fits the cinematic feel of Star Wars really well, especially tied with you, Rich, and with all of the players just doing a great job of narrating everything and getting really into their characters. I think everyone just did a fantastic job. I really loved the moment with Jex and his dad because I totally expected Jex to just shoot him. And when that didn't happen, I like got chills almost because I just thought that was wonderful. And I really like, Rich, that you brought in like the thing with Ro and I forget his name, but the other. Yes, and you just did a really great job of bringing in things for all of the characters. I thought that was really great. And yeah, this is one of the best games I've ever played in, just because everyone's so involved in it and so into it, and I'm really happy I got to be a part of it.
Awesome. I was happy to play with you. I loved Ion. Lonnie, what rose did you have?
I didn't do Control D right. I was the only one that failed Control D. Ugh. Thorn. Put that on the Thorn. I messed up Control D. No. No. Yeah, Rich, you're a amazing GM. I really had a great time. So that's a big rose, and I don't mean to gush on it, but and I don't want this to sound in a weird way, but I started role playing in '83, so I've been playing for a long time and running games too. And I would say that this arc is probably one of the most fun things that I've ever done in RPG. So I really love the way you run games, and that also has to do with the players as well. Rich, I really love your cinematic descriptions, like when we first met Jabba's Chosen, and using that sort of, I can't remember the guy from Snatch, that director, that's what I imagined, the freeze frame and their names. It was great. I love your descriptions and how you really use elements of our characters and call back to them, to really bring it into a story. And for 4 sessions, there was a lot of story. And for everyone that was at this table, I mean, I really love how this was a Star Wars game. And whenever I play Star Wars, a lot of the characters end up being existing Star Wars characters with the serial numbers filed off. And I felt like that these characters were all really interesting and different than what I've seen. I always have a good session and always want to say this, but I mean, I would love to see this as a Star Wars animated series. The Sarlacc Riders, man, I would watch that in a second. But anyway, I'll quit gushing. But yeah, I had a great time. This was awesome.
Thanks, Lonnie. Thank you so much. Luis Paulo, what about you? Bring us home with some roses.
Oh boy. Oh, where to start? Oh my God. I'm just gonna echo what everybody said. Rich, you were an amazing GM, like for real. You are so prepared. Your spreadsheets are on fire, and you do great voices, and you always manage to incorporate whatever crazy shit we come up with. everybody played really well. I had such a great time. I was like, even when I'm not part of the scene, I'm just like, no, let me be a part of it. Let me just help your character do what they want. I really want them to be successful. I'm just rooting for everyone all the time. I just wanted them to be successful. It was just so good. And like I walked into this, I'm like, I'm just gonna. It looks okay. I'm not that into Star Wars. I just want to play, and like I was so immersed in the world the whole time. It made me like Star Wars more than I did before I started playing. I'm like, damn, I need to rewatch those movies. I need to actually get into the extended universe stuff. It's just so good. I had a really great time. And I'm doing Monster Hearts on Friday night. So I sleep at midnight and then I wake up at 9 to play this. And I have no regrets.
Nice. Oh man, you got in that Monster Hearts game. I never. Oh, so jealous. Big rose to all of you guys. Thank you for joining the gauntlet. You know, this is one of our like bring in the new guys. And the thing is, like, I was a little nervous. Like, I'm gonna have all newbies, and what do I have to teach them? And you just ducked your water. You guys are just natural role players. It was so easy to run this game for you guys. You played so well together. You know, a lot of times, especially over Hangouts, I worry that people be worried, like they don't want to give up their idea of a character. They want a scene to go a certain way, or they maybe talk over others. And there's that weird uncomfortableness of like, no, you talk. But you guys were seamless. You were so thoughtful towards each other, so helpful. Like you were leading conversations. Like I love the ways that you create. You're like, I'm the team leader, but I'm the team leader who's mostly the face, and you're like organized, like kicking it to other people. Here's your skill set, which is to me like some of the best leaders are the people who recognize the skill set of the people that work with or under them and utilize them to their fullest benefit. Greg, you're like Gamorrean with a heart. I was like, this is like, I don't know if he's gonna pull this like Gamorrean with a heart, like, but damn, Ukork was so good. He changed the tenor of the entire game. His decisions added this like baseline of importance to the things that you guys were doing. You allowed with playing the character with emotion for us to not be paying lip service to the fact that you guys serve a community, right? That you are part of where you come from. That it's hard Scrabble and it's hard, but the choices you made, even the hard choices, even the ones that didn't all pay off for you, like your Kark was still a dick. I'm sorry, but you lost that bet. But like the fact that he would do that in the moment was so compelling. And Josh D, I was like, is Ro really going to do the B-Wing thing? And then you kept me the whole time until the very end. You availed the whole deal being pulled back. I was like, this is so cinematic. It was like the super, super exciting moment. And I felt selfish for like leaning so hard into that. Cause I'm like, I hope Josh is good with this. And you embraced it. And it made me super happy. Josh G, like making a not badass in a gang of bikers is a bold choice, right? It's one of those things where you're like, all of this is about hurting people. And I'm like, nope, I'm playing a slicer who is there to like fill in the gaps and thinks tactically and uses gadgets. And I was so happy when I was able to find ways to make sure that we could make room for you, that you did so many cool things. And then just like out of left field, talking about this being your clan and your family and being that person who just tied people together, tried really hard, like even reaching out to Vulture at the last moments. I was like, what are you doing? But man, you were so true to Ion, and he was so great. Like I really felt for the little guy. It hurt to shoot you in the shoulder really hard, but I had to do it because I love him. Lottie, Jex, you elevated him every time you played him. There was so many cool things that you did with Jex, like little moments that I could just see in the back of my head. Like these are pieces of color that an actor would bring physicality to the character. The fact that you use those blasters, like we got to see it. We didn't know, right? We wouldn't know. But the fact that you highlight it yet again while talking to his father, and then we get to see him using the blaster later, like that cool 1-2 moment, that is such a setup and payoff. And thank you for letting me make him David Hasselhoff. I don't know where that came from. I felt guilty for him. I'm like, oh my God, I hope I haven't ruined the tone by just cameoing David Hasselhoff. I have this weird penchant in 1%er to have C-list actors cameo in my games, guys. I don't understand. I had actor play Eric Estrada. I had Eric Estrada in a previous 1%. It was an actual biker gang, and I'm glad you guys bought into it. It made me really happy that it was like, yep, let's do that thing. Blaze, my transition expert. This was the meanest fucking transition you've ever played. He was a bad person, and I'm so happy that you brought him too, because it was neat to see. Like, you guys weren't the happy, like you are a bunch of Robin Hoods. You're a woo, blah blah blah. It's just, no, some of you are bad dudes, and it was really cool because it gave every decision, like, there are two ways to go with this. And I believed there were two ways to go with this when you guys had those moral decisions. And so that thrilled me. So I really appreciate what you brought to the table. Had a great time. We're already a little bit over. I hope you guys didn't mind me gushing. I've loved this game. I've really had a lot of fun. Welcome to the Gauntlet. I hope to play with you guys again more and more. So have a good rest of your afternoon, everybody.